Hi, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to get into all the best builds and everything. So far, after testing, we've finally come to that point where it's time to redo everything because the devs have taken away everything from us. So we're going to be doing everything on this as well as all the builds to show you what you need to make sure you set your game for, what to look for, and basically what your builds should potentially look like. Now, again, you can change up talents the way you want to play, but let's go ahead and get into some of them. So, first thing you're going to do is go to your settings. Now, if you want metric, that's going to be, for anybody who prefers metric. If you want like everything in feet, go to empirical. Again, it's going to be an everything deal, so we're going to go through it on how to set up your game and so forth. Vault indicators, on-call status, you can set this for friends and clan, so you don't keep getting pop-ups and stuff like that. Auto hide your HUD, don't worry about that one. Hence, would turn this on. Show damage numbers, you do want to see your damage numbers, so put that on there. Radar minimap, put that on. Connectivity info, yes. Player level, yes. Menu glitch effect, I'd leave that on. Strobe, fine. Automatic refill group, yes. Show skills on group frame. Now, a lot of people want to hide this kind of stuff so that you can't see what your teammates are doing, like especially in group play, when they're playing live, or if you see them in Twitch streams and stuff like that, they try to hide this so you can't tell which one's the healer. I turn this on because I want you to see everything. Definitely put this and leave this one on. Show numerical skills cooldown. Yes, we want to see how much time before we get our skills back. Photo mode when you're taking damage, because there are some events where you have to do photos, so if you want to get those extra points, you got to do this, but if you take damage, you want to turn that to yes. GPS line on. Swap effect, you can turn this off, so when you go to your specialization weapon, let me demonstrate just real quick. If I come over here into the shooting range, there is an effect that a lot of people get frustrated with. So, for instance, if I hold the Y button, see how it's nothing on there? But if I go to my settings again, and we go all the way down, turn this, swapping, for some reason I guess it glitched out. They should look like this, where you don't see that orange thing pop up when you switch to your specialization weapon. I would definitely turn that off. Let's keep on going. Additional vision, depending on the size of your screen, okay? And I would suggest this. You would still want to turn this all the way up, okay? Doesn't matter how big or how small your screen is, this one can be turned all the way up. This right here is going to help you, especially when you're sniped in. So, for instance, when I'm zoomed in like this, you can see my outer edges of my screen, they kind of pull away, and they kind of go from black to see-through on the outer sides of that scope. Typically they do that, but when I zoom out right here, I'm able to see a little bit more as I move around like this. Like, it allows me to see players when they're trying to dive past. So I can go like this and then undo it and then see this player. As soon as I turn, I'll see him behind me. Oops. Settings. It's early in the morning for me. Additional field while aiming, same thing. You're going to see that one. So there's the 25. So turn both of these all the way up, okay? It might feel a little wonky at first, but you'll get used to it. Motion sickness mode, I ain't worried about that. If you are, go ahead and turn that on. HUD tutorials throughout the game, turn that sucker off. Customize your HUD. You can do whatever you want, okay, on this. A lot of people like to take the radar in the top left and put it right behind their player so they can see. That's fine. Go ahead and do that. Everything else, just kind of leave it as it is, honestly. But that's on you. if you want to change that. Button color mode, not too worried about that. You can change it to color to where you see, so say if you're used to seeing a yellow Y or a red B or whatever you're playing on PlayStation or anything like that, you can change that. On your text, make sure you have this to floating, okay? It'll start off on random sphere. Make sure you set it to floating. This here goes straight into one straight line so you see it, and it's not all over the place. It's not in your line of vision. It's not when you're shooting. Raid speedrun, turn this to yes. Active talents above crosshair, yes. You want to be able to see that. That way you can just, it's easier viewing. You know what you have. I turn my FX down to 75. I don't really turn it down too much because I still want to hear some things. Dialogue, this is if you don't want to hear anybody. You can turn this up or down. I prefer not to have to hear everybody, but if you want to, you can put it for 35. That way you're not having to hear all the dialogue from your NPCs that are around you. Mute photo mode audio. Yeah, we can listen to what they're saying, but we don't really need to worry about that. Yeah, not worry there. Okay, controllers. Parkour mode during gameplay. No, you don't want to worry about parkour mode because this will allow you to get into cover. Okay, not just automatically sprinting or vaulting over objects, and then when you're trying to play against a player or something like that, you don't want to have to jump out of cover really quick. During auto run, that's if you want to set it for auto run where you push down. I think it's on the left joystick. You can just hit that twice, and then you'll auto run. No, you don't want that because you still want to be able to go to cover if you need to. Now here's where this becomes tricky. Camera sensitivity and aim sensitivity. I have mine set for max. I have a monitor, gaming monitor, an Asus. It's got a little green dot on my screen so I can see and aim right there at that spot. So I can aim that green dot really quick and boom, it's done. If you're on a big screen TV, okay, and you're playing like some of our clan members on a big screen TV, you might want to set this for about 12 or 13, okay, and then slowly increase both of these up until you feel comfortable. All right, that's if you're going to be doing key. Normally I believe they start off at like 10 or so, maybe even less, like 7, but you want to set them for as high as possible for your big screens if you're playing on one of those. You have a gaming monitor or you're playing on PC or anything and you can set these, definitely set these for the highest, okay? This is going to allow you to aim and shoot at players a lot faster. Scope sensitivity, literally just leave this at 5. You can drop it down to where you can hit your headshots and it doesn't move as much, and I would set it for 3, but 5 is just as good for some players. Controller vibration, definitely want to turn this to off. Okay, you don't want to be shooting and then your controller vibrates and then you miss your shots because it's vibration. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hello from the UK. Yep, my morning's going good. Thank you, gentlemen. Button layout, just leave it as default. Now, left stick and right stick dead zones. Okay, you, no matter what screen TV you're on, no matter anything, you want to set this for max. Okay. This one here you want to set for max, and I will demonstrate this in a second. Auto center. No, we don't want to auto center because what that does is this. If I aim right here, watch. Should go. Okay, the game is doing something quirky right now. Anyways, let's go back. Yeah, that's how I know it's... So, okay, yeah, if I'm moving like this, there it is. If I'm moving, it should auto-center. Okay, it's not. It's still not doing it. Okay, something's up. Or is that the other one? Yeah, for some reason it's not doing the auto-center. Okay. You can auto center this where as soon as you start moving it'll center it back up to your screen. You can do that as on or off. It's honestly on the player. I tend to sometimes use this as on because when I'm running and I have my pistol, I want to auto center. It puts me where I'm playing against players about right at their chest. by their neck. So all I have to do is just aim up a little bit and then boom, shoot, done. Toggle sprint, that's where you can push down on your controls and it'll just make it to where you can sprint. Enable auto run, yes, you want that. There it is. So double tap L, automatically move forward. Movement can exit cover, yes, you want that on, so that way you're not stuck in cover. A lot of people get stuck in cover and they don't know why, and it frustrates the hell out of them. Make sure you have this as on. Move around corners with the button. It's easy. You can set that and it's automatic. Where you on this one here, you don't even have to really do anything. It's just automatic. You can set this for yes, but I prefer no because sometimes I don't want to go around that cover. Corner speed, like move around the corner, you want to have this for fast. So basically, when you go around the corner, it's instant. It's done. Make sure you have this as fast. Okay, you do not want to set it for slow. Set it for fast. This way, when you're playing against players and you go around that corner, it's instant. It's done. Aim assist. This is another one. This does help out players versus, say, mouse and keyboard who just have remote controllers. Aim assist. Leave that as on. Grenade aim assist. Same thing. Hold aim. Cancel skills while aiming. Yes. Entering cover on long press. No, because we don't want to be messing with this. You can change it for stuck into cover when you're rolling. Like you roll, you hit A and you roll and then you get into cover. You can set this for yes and it'll get rid of that. I prefer no because sometimes I need that cover. Graphics, this is on you. Contrast sharpening, neutral lighting, so on and so forth. Choose yes will disable in-game VoIP and completely hide your public IP from other players. I do this so that way people can't mess with my IP address. So, I mean, you can do that and no one will be able to hear you. Sometimes I'll leave this for no, just because I want to hear what other people have to say, you know, in the game. I like to hear their trash talk and stuff. Group volume, proximity volume, basically all that's going to be set the same. Dark zone VoIP channel, basically you can set this for all or you can set it for allies. Basically you won't hear anybody if you have it on allies except for the people who are in your group. Set it for all so you can hear everybody nearby. That's pretty self-explanatory. On-screen keyboard, yes, we want to be able to send messages to other players who do not have mics. Text to speech, you can set that for if you want to so you can hear anybody else talking. It'll pop up on the left side of your screen. Colorblind mode, set this for Trinotopia. Okay, now why I say Trinotopia is because as you can see this ring, that red ring, if you were playing in a raid you wouldn't be able to see this because of the red dirt. So setting it for Trinotopia allows you to see that white outer ring that you can see right there on my screen of where the grenade's going to land. So you want to make sure you have Trinotopia on that. Okay, it's also going to make your colors look a little different. So if we go to my greens, they kind of look like a teal looking color versus some others, and this red. So let me reset this back and I'll show you. To none. Now look at the colors. See how they're more orangish? See how they're more yellow? We go to here, see how this is green, not a teal. And then if we set it back, yes, see how it's teal now? So setting that will allow you to see these grenade outer rings as well. So that's all for settings. Now, as I was going to show y'all one of those settings earlier, the movement strafe. You can see as I'm moving, watch this. See how it goes straight up, auto aim? There it is. It's finally working. I guess I just had to get out of the shooting range.
Good to see you, Agent.
Now, with this, what we're trying to do is we're going to stay on this line. Okay? Now, if I go left, right, if I'm running and I go left, right, see how I dip like that? That is called a stagger. So if I were to go left, right, because I'm so high up there, it doesn't stagger me. So if we go back to settings, I believe it's in controls, left stick dead zone, we set this back for, I think normal was like 7. We'll set this back for 7. We're going to run. You can see we keep getting more staggers and more staggers. That stagger right there will stop you from being able to shoot another player. So you do not want the staggers. So you need to set that for your settings, and it needs to be as high as possible. Now again, people don't like having it that high, so that's still going to be on you to set it the way you feel like, but you definitely want this right here to be as high up. And again, these two, have them as high as possible, but you're going to have to work with them. Okay, you're literally going to have to work with them to where it feels right on your TV, because the bigger the TV, they are going to change. The bigger the TV, you might have to drop this down to this. You might have to drop it down to this. So if you're playing on monitors, set it for its max. Okay, seriously, because I don't know why. For some reason, I've tried it on my big screen, my 60-something inch TV, and yeah, it's kind of, it feels a little different on there. So that's another setting. Now let's go ahead. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get into the builds. Now that we got all of our settings and stuff out of the way. So the first build we're going to go to is going to be DPS build. You should always have a full red DPS build. So let's go ahead and set this thing for a named enemy. Now there are two types of DPS builds. Okay, I'm going to state this right now. I'm going to go through multiple styles of builds and how to set each and every one of them up. So DPS build, your strongest DPS build is going to be this. Okay, this is literally the strongest DPS build. The other version to this will be with glass cannon. Now, you can use glass cannon if you want, but you will be taking in more damage. They do hit pretty much the same. The only difference between this one and glass cannon is we get more damage out of this. Now, you can use, okay, instead of boomerang, if you are great at landing headshots, especially for PC players, you can go rifleman. Okay? Boomerang is just a more guaranteed to crit, especially if you don't hit those headshots and you lose the stacks on rifleman. You're not able to hit the headshots, go with boomerang. If you're good in hitting headshots, okay, go rifleman, because you'll get an extra 10% damage out of this type of build. So we want the sniper specialist, because the sniper is going to give us extra headshot damage, okay, for rifles. So that's our main one. We have this here as a backup in case ads get too close to us and we have to stagger them so we can get the kill. Because we have high crit chance, this is a great one to go with. Now you can go with anything else if you want, but because focus does not work with the Dread Edict, we're not using that. You can also use a Nemesis because we're using focus. You can use a Mantis, same thing. You're going to get a lot of damage out of this. Another one that you can use with it right now, because of how strong it is a Keenbreaker, because someone's going to have a constant pulse. So you can go with that if you want. You can even go with a Dare because it's even got that as well. And you have all these multiplicatives. White Death. Anything you want on this for high damage. Now, the glass cannon one, your best backup weapon, is going to be the Pestilence. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you have crit chance, you have the glass cannon, and you have crit damage here, you're already using the Petrov gloves, and you're using the Overlord knee pads. So you want to keep 2 of these so we're not having to worry about weapons, and we're not wasting any extra talents or any pieces. You have 2 weapon pieces right here. Stick to those 2 weapons, LMG and rifle. So let's get in to show some damage. So that's before we crit. 3.8. And we're still stacking up focus. Okay, focus is fully stacked. 5 mil. So we're hitting for 5 mil with a straight DPS. Now let's get the boomerang to proc. Okay, we get the boomerang. 5.8. So as you can see, we're hitting for 5.8 on the DPS. Now we're going to change this up. Put on perfect glass. And I forgot to grab that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, the other one doesn't matter. I just realized. You can go get yourself, and again, because it's a DZ exclusive, you can go get a gift backpack. It'll give you the same thing as crit chance. So I want to demonstrate this. The only difference between them is you lose 1 second right here. So you can get the damage back, okay, in 3 seconds versus 4 seconds. And then we're going to throw on... I did put my Grupo holster in there. This is why I like making those videos, because I forget to put the stuff on. And I have to come back over here and do this. Okay. So we got the Grupo holster. Then we will put on the mod. And thanks to someone else, they showed me this. So now we saw that we're hitting for almost 5.9, 5.8 something or other. Let's see what we can do on it now with the glass cannon. 4.7. So we'll say 4.8. So we're still hitting for almost a mil difference on just that. Now let's see if we can get the boomerang to proc. And now that we got boomerang. Whoops. Oh, I messed up. Let's get the target closer. Okay, we got boomerang. 5.4. So the other one was hitting for 5.9, and we just hit for 5.46. So we'll say 5.5. So focus is still stronger than glass cannon, and we're not taking in the extra damage. So as y'all can see there, you're set. So focus on a DPS is way more stronger. But again, the biggest problem with focus is being able to shoot those targets and land those headshots, because you have to have a high scope. So we have a shield to do this right here. So for instance, if this is the wall right here, we can use the wall because they haven't taken that away. The ad will not see you. You can line up the wall and shoot the ad. So that's how you can keep focus going. So you got to learn the play style. So we'll go over play styles at the end of this entire thing. Now, the pestilence with glass cannon, still the strongest because of the multiplicative. Try to get the tick to max out, shall we? Oh, dang it. Okay, we got to drop it back farther because it's got to transfer over there. There it goes. .1. So that's the multiplicative on the pestilence. Now, it used to hit for 1.25. In a previous video I used to have, it used to hit for 1.25. So this is what I'm trying to explain as well. So I have maxed this thing out to level 13. It used to hit for 1.25. Now, what I've found out is interesting is this. Because in the previous video, it used to hit like that. The devs actually, they didn't give us extra damage. They took the damage away from us. And because they took the damage away from us, we go over here and we start to max out our stuff. Once we get them fully maxed, we will get our damage back to where it is. So we have been nerfed. a silent nerf that we did not know, because my pestilence build on this with glass cannon, again, the tick used to hit for 1.25 on this glass cannon. So what does that mean? That means they nerfed us, and the damage that we get back from the expertise is actually the damage that we're missing right now. So if y'all didn't know that, here you go. This is proof. Because again, my glass cannon pestilence all red damage build used to tick for 1.25. As you see, it's going to jump over here to something with armor. Eventually. Come on. Look at that. Never even saw 1.25. Come on, jump over here. There we go. It's on the yellow. It's not hitting for 1.25 anymore. So they nerfed our damage, and the damage that we have to get back is on our expertise system. So if you've ever wondered why some of the ads feel like they're hitting you a little harder, it's because you're doing less damage than you used to. So, we got DPS out of the way. Alright, let's go to skills, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is my skill build. I had a version with the Fender's gloves. I went and did some more testing. Because of that, I found that this here older skill build was still hitting harder. I put them both side by side comparison. Now, this here glass cannon is going to be the better glass cannon than using this one right down here. Reason why I say that is because that 60% damage will not allow you to survive a sniper dog shot. Okay, no matter what you do, you will not survive any sniper dog shot. Period. With my glass cannon that I have here, the Wyvern one, will allow us to survive that sniper dog shot, and we will have a very small margin of health, allowing us to get into cover and give you survivability. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with the kindest words possible. KVD, you're a moron. You're an idiot because you said that this build does not hit as strong and has no survivability. That's fine. I proved you wrong with the survivability. But I'm going to leave all that behind, and I'm going to show the damage difference right here as proof one more time. So, we have a named enemy. It is coming to our turret right now. We are going to set this on that target. Let's stack up some damage, shall we? There we go. We're at 40. Go ahead, turret. Shoot that sucker. 292.36 on the turret. 292.36. Alright, drone, go shoot that target. 181.978. Okay. Now, that's the build. Okay? It's pretty simple. Very self-explanatory. We are not wasting a skill tier, so we found one piece that we had skill haste and skill damage that we could put weapon damage or armor onto. I went with weapon damage because I wanted the damage, because this is going to give us an extra skill tier. So because of that, we have 3-piece Empress, 1-piece Wyvern, and the Hannah U. Now, we don't technically need the Hannah U backpack here, but because it's perfect combined arms, it's going to give us 5% more multiplicative type damage out of the combined arms, rather than just regular combined arms. Waveform holster is still going to be best in slot on this. Our skills are at max cooldown that they potentially can be at, okay? Because we have skill haste and skill damage everywhere. Now, you do not want the test subject here, you want the harmony. Now, the reason for the harmony is because if you're running out of AR ammo, you have a rifle to go back to with perfect in sync, okay? Also, you want a card 45. It has the highest damage for the pistols in comparison to some of these other pistols like this, with a big magazine. So we want that with in sync, so if we're using pistolero. Now, this is my version. As y'all saw the damage numbers, we can scroll back and view, and we're going to show the damage numbers difference. If anybody wants to type in those damage numbers so I can remember what they are, it'd be great. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to put on this chest piece, and we're going to go re-roll this here back to skill tier, and we're going to show the difference. In KVDs, we're going to show how minimal the damage difference is. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to take off the turret here in a second. Alright, drone first, since we got that maxed out. $182. We were hitting for like 181.9, I believe, on the drone. So we're barely 100 or maybe 200 less on the drone. Okay, drone, no more time for you. Turret, do your job. $292. I believe we were hitting from 291 or 290. I think it's 292 point something. So, yeah, 292. Matter of fact, we'll just switch right back real quick. Don't worry about the one tier. Let's see what we got. Dang it. Yeah, we're barely 200 less on the drone. Yeah, and we're barely, yeah, we were barely like 300 less on the turret. So yeah, my version hits a little bit less on the turret and the drone, but you have the more survivability because you're not using perfect glass. So you can actually survive one shot. So it's minimal damage, very minimal. As I stated before. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, your medic. Now I have found a glitch in the Matrix because of a video that someone opened my eyes to. I can't remember what it was, but it was something about how if I heal one player and he's still far away, he gets more repairs as well as incoming repairs because of the crossbow. So because of which we put on a Richter and Kaiser backpack. Now a lot of people want to go with an Alps backpack and safeguard. The Richter and Kaiser, because of the incoming repairs, it also gives outgoing repairs, not just straight outgoing repairs. Because of that, if you have a medic, you want to find a Richter and Kaiser with safeguard. It's going to give your team more repairs because as you repair yourself, you're also giving out more repairs at the same time. So that is kind of a loophole. You're giving not just 20% because you also have the outgoing of the backpack. It's not just like repair skills going to that player. If you heal yourself, you're also healing them at the same time. So you want the Richter and Kaiser. Now, you can use a piece of Alps anywhere you use, and you don't have to use the BTSU gloves. But because the BTSU gloves allows for overcharge, you want to have them on your medic, okay? It is pretty much vital. Now, as for weapons, you're not too much worried about weapons, but if you can get a decent weapon like this with headshot grants the reformation, if you can get that, great. I happened to find a military AKM which already had all these set up, so I went with it, and it allows me to do some damage. As for the build, it's pretty much just very simple. Repair skills everywhere, repair skills. So, the Catharsis Mask, which I don't know why people think is going to heal, even though, yes, it does drop a Kim and it heals, that is actually going to do anything. It only restores 5% of your max armor. So if you don't have a whole lot of armor on this right here, you're not going to get much. And even if you do, it's not going to do anything for you or your team as a Catharsis Mask here. The Chill Out Mask does not give you more heals, okay? Just because it's better and you can put those extra repair pieces in here, I want y'all to look at this. I have repair skills, right? If I were to put an Alps mask on, I would have the repair skills of that extra 20%. And because of that, it would be the same thing as a Chill Out mask. Literally the exact same. The only difference is I would have skill haste allowed on that, which gives me even more time to get these back. So the Chill Out mask is not best on a repair build, especially if you have one with repair skills. It's not better. An Alps is way better, okay? But the BTSU gloves, you can't pass those up because you can give your team overcharge because you're using a hive. So it's very simple, very self-explanatory. If we lose armor like this, we don't give our team that buff. Dropping a Kim, we heal ourselves up. There's the blue mark for the future initiative. We're giving ourselves or our team 25% extra damage. Now, there are two ways to build this build, okay? You can use the chest piece, or you can use I don't even think I have one over here on this character. You can use a Alps chest piece right here with empathetic resolve, and then go and put on a future backpack. Now, I would suggest, if you want to do it a really cool way, is do the Alps chest piece, the Richter and Kaiser backpack, and then get rid of the BTSU gloves. Now, the reason why is because the Alps will give your team the more heals, and if you ever lose your armor, they're only losing 15% weapon damage, and if you heal them, you're giving them 15% weapon damage. And because of Richter and Kaiser, if you heal yourself, it also heals your teammates some of that as well. You'll always be giving them the repairs, so they'll never lose that damage. That's another interesting way to do it. But that's pretty much it. But as soon as you take any kind of damage, you see it's gone. So you got to make sure you keep yourself healed. That's it. That's how you give your team that extra damage. Let's see. Okay. Status. When it comes to status, there are two of the status builds out here for Eclipse. Now, I want to say that some people are not wrong. Actually, there's technically three. This one here still gives the more damage. I have tested this out. We run through missions even faster than everything else. Now, you personally, if you're just running solo, okay, I want to put this out here. If you are running solo, go put on the Grenadier, okay? Now, this might sound crazy, but you're going to put on the Grenadier, and rather than the Wyvern chest piece, you're going to find a China Light chest piece with glass cannon, status effects and skill damage. Now, the reason why is because it's going to boost the Vial mask up. Okay? It will boost it up even more because it's about the concussion grenade. So if you're going to do solo, it'll give you personally the most damage. The reason why we have the crossbow on is because any target that gets status affected, we give our teammates an extra 10% damage on those status affected enemies. And if we're running in a group, this is going to give out 30 total extra percent in damage, which will still out damage the Grenadier and China Light combo. So I play in groups, so I have mine set for this. If you're going to do it solo, again, grenade launcher, China light chess piece, exactly like this, skill haste or status effect, skill damage, and glass cannon. Okay. Now, vial mask pretty much must be in slot on this. Okay, must be in slot. Backpack is going to give us an extra 30% damage, as you can see down here. Symptom aggravator. Status affected enemies targeted by 30%. So we have this on for the skill damage. Now you technically can use a Golan if you could find one with status effect, skill damage, and glass cannon. I have been looking for that unicorn that I can roll the core to yellow. It would be the exact same, because status effect or skill damage are basically side by side. They're multiplicative of each other. So you can do that as well. And if you were to find that one, you could even put on the rocket launcher, because you're not wasting that skill tier. And because you're not wasting that skill tier, you'll actually get just the same as the Grenadier and the China Light combo. And again, we have status effects everywhere else. Now, the one key part to this is a weapon that has damage to armor. Okay? The damage to armor is going to increase your status effects damages, and we're going to demonstrate that here in a second. Now, our two strongest damage for statuses is going to be these two right here that I have on. The burn sticky and the burn chem launcher. These two. Okay? So we're going to make sure that we have it set for burn. We have skill haste. We have duration. Let's go ahead and put burn damage on. On this one we have burn strength. We could even go with damage, but that's just the initial blast. We want the burn damage, which is burn strength. And we're good. Okay, so we have both of these set up. Get rid of that. Alright, so let's get these on fire. 497. It drops down on health to 443. Alright, it's 497. Let's do the other one. Okay, I didn't want to do that. Come on, show me the numbers. Show me the numbers. Really, game? You're going to be like that today? Okay. Anyway, we got this one here. So we're going to demonstrate one more time so we get the numbers again. 497. Okay, so yeah, the game's just trying to be buggy with me right now. So 497. Now, we're going to switch to a weapon that has no damage to armor, no nothing special. That's the backfire. Crit chance, magazine size. Now, I want y'all to notice they're still on that, so we're going to give it a few seconds. Okay, here we go. $443. Damage to armor, and still even on the health, 443. So damage to armor is going to give you that extra damage on the status affected targets. So, for instance, this one here, even though this one does a status, it doesn't have a lot of damage to armor. Now this is pretty cool because I can also have this set them on fire. When I detonate it, now he's also status affected with that at the same time, giving me a chance to hit him with the chem launcher or anything else. So you can even do that if you want. It's pretty neat. It's still bugging. Okay. Alright, let's go back to the Scorpio. Now another reason why we have the Scorpio on this, of course, is because the Scorpio allows for all these extra statuses. So not only will we put them on, say, a status like this, we can basically come over here, status affect these guys, just like so, and then hit oh boy while you say status, and then burn them down. So, oh look there, 503. Finally. Oh, my gear match for appearance. Yeah, I haven't shown that. We'll get to all that stuff at the very end, because I want to get the damages and the skills out. So we'll show you how to do all the other stuff later for your characters. So anyway, as we got this, yeah. Now all these other statuses, I'm going to demonstrate one time, okay? Because I'm trying to cut this down so I can edit this later on. Let's do blinder because it's pretty quick. Let's put on the jammer pulse for here. Make sure we have blind, effect duration. We have radius and skill haste. Okay, so we have nothing else special. So I want y'all to watch this. We're going to status effect one of these, and I'm going to show you the damage on that. So we're at 100,000 right now. Which kind of weird that it's killing them off, but okay, interesting. All right, so we're at 100,000. Let's get one of these that has some armor on it. 112. There we go. Okay, so we're hitting them for 112. All right, so we got 112. Now watch this. Jammer pulse. 112. So all these other statuses besides the burns, even the bleed, does the same. So I'm going to demonstrate that as we have an explosive seeker mine. Make sure one of these targets doesn't get hurt. Let's go over here. Go over there and bleed them for me, little target. 100. Okay, there's pretty low. Let's get this thing to... Okay. Show the bleed again on a full armor. 112. You see the bleed for the 112, ladies and gentlemen? Every status you do besides burn is only going to hit for 112 max. So that's the hive. It's also going to do 112. Shrapnel trap bleed, 112. The burn on the turret, for some reason, I don't know why, this burn, it's still 112. All these other statuses are barely 112. Those need to be increased for some reason. I don't know why they're just doing that, but the two strongest is going to be your burn sticky and your fire chem launcher. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go to explosive. Now, there has been some controversy over my explosive build and why I changed this. I'm going to demonstrate and I'm going to show you guys that here hits harder. For some reason, a lot of people still think that the Grupo Sombra holster hits the hardest, or the Grupo Sombra two-piece hits the hardest. Well, it can, because it does more explosive damage and allows for more explosives, but this one here for the turret, because that's your main weapon, it hits the hardest this way. Not only that, I switched it to this because, one, finding pieces like this are a pain in the fucking ass, because you have to find the damage and the skill haste to get anything, and you can even do status effect if you wanted to and get more damage out that way. But I went with skill haste because I want to get my traps back even faster. But because we're not wasting that critical hit damage at the top that you can see, I hate wasting stuff on builds, period. I don't want to waste it. I don't want to waste your time. So because of that, we want to find a 3-piece Empress. Now that third piece is going to give us skill efficiency, which gives us status effect damage, skill damage, skill haste, repair skills, skill duration, all that. So we want to find that piece because that's going to give us 20%. Now the Grupo right here is only going to give us 15% explosive damage. So it's not going to give us any status effect damage. It's not going to give us any skill haste. It's not going to give us all that extra stuff, just explosive damage. So yeah, it's an explosive build, but we want all that extra damage. You see what I'm saying? So because of which, we're going to go with a 3-piece Empress, 1-piece Wyvern, 1-piece China, and we're not wasting anything, and we have this to give our skills some extra damage. So I'm going to show y'all and demonstrate right here today which one hits the hardest. Let's get our thing status affected. 5.7 on the beginning. 6.89, so almost 6.9, ladies and gentlemen. Now that's before we max out the capacitor. We're hitting for 6.9. So while this thing is switching over, let's switch these pieces up. Group O was skill damage, skill haste, so we're not wasting anything. We got Hannah U. Now we could use a piece of China Light, which would give us more skill haste, or we can use a second piece of Wyvern if you wanted to for status effects rather than the Hannah U, but because we also want the skill haste to come back, we can do just the Hannah U right here on the knee pads or wherever you wish. So let's go back to this. We were hitting for 6.9, turrets up. Oh, it's already transferred over. Dang it. Alright. We'll be back in 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I didn't get it done in time. Alright, here we go. We got everything going. 6.9, the exact same. 6.9. We're hitting for a tiny bit more with the Grupo, but we don't have all that extra status effects. We don't have all that extra skill duration, and so forth. So again, the status effect damage and all that is very minimal, but because the Empress, and I'm going to state this again, the Empress allows for 10% status effect damage that we don't have to waste. The only time that these two will hit the exact same is if we were to trade off this Hannah U for a second piece of Wyvern to get the status effect damage, which is right here, the 10%. But if we do that, we also lose skill haste. So you lose out somewhere on this build by not doing the Empress International. You don't gain the skill duration. You don't gain the repair skills, although you don't need repair skills on here. You don't lose out on the skill haste. So these two things are literally minimal, and we're talking very minimal amount of damage. This build right here is harder to make because you don't have the Grupo pieces. Okay, you gotta go farm these really hard, and then you have the crit damage, which is just a waste. The easiest thing to farm for players is Empress International, and it's going to give you more status effect damage by doing so. So if you want to farm for either build, that's fine. They literally hit almost the exact same, just we're talking bare minimal damage. So that's on you as a player. Do you want to farm hard or you want to farm easy? So my team support build, this one is going to get a huge buff, and I'm talking a huge buff. Why? I'm about to show y'all right here. It's in the expertise. We finally found it last night. We got all of our skills completely maxed out. The Artificer Hive, the tech efficiency can go up to 20%, which means on the Artificer Hive, I now am going to give out players for tech efficiency, which is basically the charge efficiency, or it's basically just think of it as skill efficiency. I'm about to buff y'all from 70% amount to 90%. Now, what does that mean for my players? The skills damage that they're normally doing right now is getting 70% right here off of this alone, just the Artificer Hive. I'm about to give them an extra 90. On this build, I am now also giving them, if I stack up a Chonga, an extra 20%. So now we're talking 110 on their skills. Then I'm using the 4-piece Future Initiative. So that's an extra 25 on their skills. So now we're sitting at 135% damage of skills. Because I'm using a shotgun, I hit them with this, opportunistic. And this is where it's going to get a little tricky. I'm still trying to find this, but what I want to find is the new perfect opportunistic. So we're sitting at 135. If I found the backpack, we're sitting at 150% skill damage on a target. Because perfect opportunistic would be 15 versus this 10. Now, with that being said, that's 150% extra skill damage on a chonga or a target just by shooting them, stacking up that damage. But here's the cool part, is if I were to go and get overcharge, we now boost it up an extra. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's in here somewhere. It goes from 70 to something else. Oh, overcharge right there. We get an extra, was it from 600 to 700, so an extra 100% efficiency, which boosts that up 100%. So we're going to give them 250. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, 250 skill damage boosted. Because we're already sitting at that. So basically, I'm going to give everybody 250% extra damage on their skills. Which basically means if my chongas that I've been facing against in legendaries on one of my videos, and I can showcase it later on when I edit this out and I'll show you all some stuff. Basically, I can give each of my players, which the chongas drop in less than 2 seconds. Before the chonga even comes out of a chopper, the moment you see a chonga, if I were to go overclock, the chonga is just instant gone. That's how strong this is about to become. So this build will also boost them up in weapon damage. How? I'm now giving them 20% here if I stack it up on a chonga. I'm giving them 25, so that's 45. With the backpack, that would be 60. So I'm not just boosting skill damage players, I'm boosting weapon damage players by 60%. All I have to do is find the Uzina Zekia backpack, and boom, they get an extra 60% weapon damage on that target. So, again, if y'all like that, cool, because then all I have to do is I can find that Uzina Zekia and I can take off this red core right here, go back to a yellow, and that's it. I've got armor for days. So, that's the build. Now, we're using the chem launcher to just keep them healed, since we're also a medic at the same time. Strongest heals we can give them. Let's see here. That's team support. We'll go over all those in a PvP one here in a second. And let's go to my other character and showcase the other... Oh, wait. Nope. Heartbreaker. Since we're doing green builds now. Now, there are multiple ways to run Heartbreaker. Multiple. You can run it as I have here. You can run it with an exotic of a pestilence. And I'm going to show y'all this right now. You can literally come over here, and as we stack up armor, which maybe I should set this to something a little higher. $394. So we have this damage. Let's pulse it out. Let's pulse the target. We saw 394, right? As you can see, you can even use pestilence because it's LMG, but the ticks do not increase. The weapon damage does. So the whole thing about the pestilence tick working on there, I haven't confirmed that one or anything right now because I have all these blues, but I have not seen, because we're doing so much damage, that if it works. If y'all have noticed it works, please hit me up, let me know. I have not really seen the pestilence tick, the actual tick, do anything because we're doing too much damage before we get anything. I personally run with the Bullet King and the shotgun. Here's reasons why. Is because when I'm shooting, I can pulse the target. I get that armor back really fast. I mean, it's basically however fast you can shoot is how you're going to get it. And because we don't have to reload with the Bullet King, this thing works great with it. Okay, having the spotter drone on just basically gives us a constant pulse where we can shoot at the chest. And you see I'm stacking blue armor. I don't have to shoot him in the head. I can just keep him pulsed like that and shoot him in the chest if I wanted to. I'm getting my blue armor. I'm getting my weapon damage. That's why I run the spotter with it. It's so easy, and it lasts for 7 minutes. The other thing is the shotgun. Everybody says this is broken. Again, it's about landing shots on a spotted target. Because we have that, watch this. Blue armor. Just keep stacking. And because it's shooting 8 pellets, which counts as 8 bullets, hey, guess what? We're going to get more armor, more damage even faster. That's why it's so broken. So the higher the damage, the better. Now, this thing, the Bullet King beats the vectors and everything else in damage because you get the multiplicatives of the damage targets out of cover, which is higher than 10%. You got 12%. And because we got crit damage, yeah, we could literally just stack in the crit chance and just shoot at a chest all day long. And not only that, if we're fighting against NPCs, it suppresses them, so it keeps them from shooting you, allowing you to shoot. Yeah, you'd love to go try this in Countdown a lot more this way than anything. Now, you can trade off because we're using the Bullet King, or you can use, because we're also using this, you can use a contractor gloves if you wanted to. That's on you. I go with the Foxes just because damage targets out of cover is still stronger. Okay? It's still the stronger piece to put on here, no matter what you do. Yes, the contractors will give you LMG damage. Okay? So, again, there's multiple ways you can run this. You can run it like this if you wanted, and then put on the contractor's gloves, or the contractor's gloves and Heartbreaker, just like this, if you wanted to, because you got the LMG. That's fine, but you're only going to get the armor off. Once their armor comes off, guess what? They're on health. Your damage drops. So putting damage targets out of cover, still more viable. Now, another way you can run this is doing a Fenris chest piece. If you're going to use ARs or whatever you want to use, I would prefer using a Seska so you can get the crit chance out that you need, and then run Heartbreakers like this. Now, here's the catch. When you do this, you will get the instant pulse damage of 15 or 20% if you're using the closer. That's fine. But you've now cut your damage down by 30%. Okay? Because in comparison to this, we have 20 or 15 to 20% here versus 50 to 100. So that's 50% damage. Okay? 50%. So we have lost 30 to 35% damage. So that's on you, whichever way you want to run it. But the cool thing is, again, spotter chest piece gives you the instant damage. So, again, now I have seen some people, and I don't know why, they're running this with perfect glass cannon and vigilance. It is a ideal setup, but here is my issue with this. Okay, I'm going to just kind of demonstrate this right here. Let's put on anything with vigilance. So the moment I were to come over here and say I take damage like this, I lose vigilance, right? But they're doing this right here with Heartbreaker because, hey, I'm shooting a spot, and oh yeah, maybe I should put on a Heartbreaker mask. Take the catharsis off. So we have the Heartbreaker set up, pulse enemy. So now I'm getting this blue armor, right? The blue armor protects vigilance as I take damage. But because I have this, I'm now taking in damage, so that blue armor is going to fly away. I have seen people doing this, and I don't know where they got this from, or this idea, but it is horrible. It is horrible. Yeah, you can do 30% multiplicative type damage, but you're taking in 60%, which takes away, if they hit you, they're taking away your armor. I don't know who it is that's telling y'all to do this. This is horrible. Okay? Yeah, I have a y'all gear backpack like this. I'm just demonstrating for the vigilance. It's if you're going to put vigilance on there, that's one thing. Do not put glass cannon on. Do not, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to put anything, put obliterate. Put on, and as a matter of fact, because you have all that extra armor, go run you a hunter killer. Like literally, while you're stacking up that damage, watch this. We're going to put on the drone, get that pulse on that target. We get the armor. Look, we're stacking up our intimidate. Because we're stacking up our intimidate, we're getting even more damage out. Like, if you want to do anything, I would suggest this. If you want to try this out, I've tested this. This is actually a lot of fun. Put on the Catharsis mask. Put on the hunter piece right here, the hunter killer, and put on the backpack. And go to town. Then you get all that extra bonus armor, and then because you're stacking a bunch of bonus armor like this right here, it's harder to take away, which keeps your intimidate going. Like, I can just sit here, do nothing. I have 40%. I still have 40%. I still have my 40% because of the way it stacks. And now I'm laying into them. So when people say that Intimidate is gone the way of the dodo, like nerfed, it's not. This right here is really strong. We've only lost 10% damage. Literally, ladies and gentlemen. We've lost 10%. That's it. But we get all that extra damage still. And it stays there. See? I still have blue armor. Blue armor's finally gone. I don't have it anymore. Try again the pestilence build. You mean put the pestilence on this? I just walked past my pestilence. Yes, I did. DPS1. Oh, that's simple. This is DPS right here. Yeah, I'll show that again later on. But I want to show y'all. Actually, yeah, let me just do this before we swap to another character, because I can't believe this. I saw this yesterday when I was testing stuff out before I came to do this video today. So again, you can get the gift backpack, which would give you the crit chance, or you can just find this right here. The gift backpack shortens it by 1 second. But I want y'all to watch this real quick. Matter of fact, let me make sure. I may have been wrong, but I'm gonna double check on this real quick. Yeah, it's because I don't have that. So let me take the pistols off real quick. Let me go to LMG. Let me see if that changes it. Because it used to hit for 1.25. Let me just double check. I may have been wrong. Let's stack this sucker. And let's set these so that way it'll transfer over easier. And set it for 10. Okay, we're good. All right. Yeah, see? Okay, there it is. Okay, it was just because the LNG wasn't on there. Ha, that's my bad. So they didn't nerf us. I totally forgot to check that. So, never mind, everybody. I was wrong. So yeah, okay, so that's what it is. I was wondering why I was hitting less. I totally forgot to go check that. So no, there was not a silent nerf. I am completely wrong about that one. Yeah, I was wondering why the hell. Now that you said put it back on, I went and double checked. Whoopsies. Alright, so now we're going to go to the other ones. Alright, so we have cliffs. Okay, negotiators. Now, I have tested, and like I said, there was you can go with different types of negotiators. I went through very rigorous testing because I saw how the backpack does work at times, but you can get more out of a vigilance when it's 1v1. But I went and tested it with focus and the Fox's knee pads. This version of negotiators hits super hard. I'm talking Mack truck type hard. So, before we do this, I want to make sure I have everything set up for the build. Now I got to come back over here because I didn't check these. Okay, we got rifles. Yay. Okay, I'm not fucking this shit up again. Okay, so this one here, we're going to leave this as, okay, we got it set for hard. We're not too much worried. I will come back and reset this afterwards because we just want to kill these ads as fast as possible so we can stack up this. So this character's on hard. Let's just drop them. Oh, they're already gone. Okay. Will you just die already? Now the reason why I'm killing all of these real quick is just because we're trying to get as much crit damage out as possible before we show you the damage numbers. Okay, so we are maxed out. So let's see what we got here. Before I lose the stacks. Keep this thing going while that focus builds up. Alright, so we've got focus maxed out, everything. So we're hitting for almost 4 mil. There's the crit. And it's critting so high it's not even counting. 1, 2, 3, that's on hard as well. Please don't lose my stacks. Please don't lose my stacks. Yay, we came back. I lost my stacks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright. So anyway, we're hitting for about 4 mil with this version, with the focus. Now, I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to show you how hard this hits against some very hard targets. So now that we've got all these yellows out here, let's go ahead and see. We tag that one. We tag this one. His armor go off. Literally. Oh, that one's dead. Oh, we tagged the other one. Oh, let's tag another one. Look at that. In 3 shots, I can kill multiple targets. 3 shots. And that's before I've got any negotiators going. So, because of which, we can tag one, tag another, tag another, and we've killed the other one. So we can just keep, like, pick a different target and tag it and shoot it non-stop. So focus with this, just, it melts. It literally melts everything. I cannot get that one target behind there, so I got to come over here. And you see, we're just, I mean, I'm almost hitting one target at a time, and boom, the target's pretty much just gone. Alright, so now we got max stacks out here. And sometimes, again, it doesn't crit, so you gotta be careful, you gotta watch for that. And you see, basically 3 bullets and the target's gone. So 3 bullets on this, on anything, you can tag like 3 enemies and they're pretty much gone. We did that last night, in the latest video last night. If you want to go check that one out about pulse resistance, go take a look at that one. The other live one that we did from last night, we showed that right at the beginning. But I'll be showing that build later on a PvP one. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, that's Negotiators. It's pretty simple. Everything crit damage. As you can see, we have Boomerang because we're critting so high. And as you see right here, I'll show you the stats. We're sitting at 58 and 160. And again, the more kills that we get, the higher the crit damage gets. So, that's Negotiators. This one here, just it hits stupidly strong. Just stupidly strong. And you're able to hit multiple targets and just hit like 3 of them and they're gone. And again, that's, even though it says up top it's on hard, the area in here is on heroic. So, let me see what crazy stat am I testing today. I'm just showing everybody the builds, bro. Okay, so we got aces. Okay, now I've talked about aces before. The best talent I have found on a white death is Future Perfect. I'm going to demonstrate that here today. Now, the white death is by far the best sniper rifle next to the Nemesis. The Mantis is just as good, but because the Dread Edric doesn't work with focus, we're not really messing with that too much. Now, you can use it with this and get the Headhunter like so, but that's on you. The Dread Edit needs to be fixed. It needs something on the rails since I'm having to scope in. And if y'all don't know about that, let me demonstrate just real quick before we get into the build. And you see, we have a scope. Right there. We have a scope. But the weapon has no scope. So if y'all didn't know about that, sorry. But it doesn't work with focus. And if you want proof, okay, let's go down here to one with focus. Now, I switch to the Dread Edric. Look at where my Vigilance proc is. No focus is being counted whatsoever, right? We have the Dread Edric in our hand. Let's go to the White Death, shall we? There's the focus. Now, again, it says it doesn't have a scope on there. But look at this. 40 plus headshot percentage damage, right? 40% or 45%. Hey, look, 40%. But yet, if I switch to said weapon, it forces me to look down the scope. So why the hell, if I'm looking down the scope, does focus not work? So, needless to say, these two are going to be the strongest on the build. This White Death literally hits for the same amount of damage as the Mantis. Even though it's 1.1 mil, because of that extra headshot damage, and this one here has all this extra stuff down here as well, the White Death and the Mantis hit for the same. Literally the same. So, we have the White Death. As for the build, it's simple. Everything headshot damage. Now on here you can on here you can do like this, where I have crit chance. You can go with weapon handling if you wanted to, especially if you're going to use the Dread Edric because it bounces all over the place. Put weapon handling there. The Araldis, same thing. We have crit chance. You can put weapon handling here to get even more stability on your said weapons versus the crit chance. I went with crit chance because I wanted to be able to crit players with this headshot damage even if I were to land it on their body. So because this one here has crit chance, we still want to get that damage out. So we put crit chance in there. Now let's demonstrate. Aces and eights. Almost maxed. Nope. It's maxed. Okay. 2.6. That's where we're hitting for a headshot. 2.6. And we have Headhunter going. So, now we got our last bullet. Boom. Named enemy. Right here. Boom. 2.6. Now, I want y'all to notice something. Just on my screen. Look at my hive. Look at how many charges I have. Y'all see that? That is what this thing does. The future perfect part on here. So you can see I'm back to 0. So, check this out. I have a teammate down, right? I put my hive down. I pick him up, right? I want another charge just before I go to pick him up. I shoot. Oh, I forgot. Headhunter went away. I shoot. I get the kill. Look, I've got a second charge. Right? So now that I've got a second charge, I can drop it and pick him up. Oh, look, I got a third charge. Oh, there's another teammate about to go down. Oh, look, there's a fourth one. So now I go over here. I pick him up. Get my charge back. Pick up the other guy. I pick up the last guy. And I still have one charge for myself. Because I killed everything. So. Now let's show the Nemesis. 5.6, 5.4. So that's the build. Now we use this tactician drone just so we can see where the enemies are at. Again, we want to be able to know where they're coming from. Okay? In PvP, I would suggest sending it out like this. You know, so your teammates can see where it's at and just keep it pulsed. If you're doing PvP with this build, which I would not suggest this build for PvP, I would keep the drone basically right by you so you can see where they're at. But again, if you want to use an Aces build in PvP, by all means, this thing hits super hard. That's Aces. Ongoing directive. Now, as y'all can see, I have some blue on here. Okay, if we were to roll this away, we would still be hitting for almost 1 point something mil in damage. Pulse resistance does work, Capone. We tested it last night in the video. Pulse resistance does work. It does not work if they hit the headshots. So with this right here, we're going to be using this one. Now you can use the Carnage, okay? The reason why I suggest this one over the Carnage is because you have a magazine of 65. The reload speed is 2.3, same as an AR. And because of that, I could reload before you get all your bullets out on your carnage and still get about 100 or about 20 more than the other person with the carnage and still get the more damage out. You can use a carnage here if you want, but the military versus the other one, I think it's this one here, this version. I can't remember which one version this one is, but it's the same thing. It's a RPK 74. The RPK 74 with Sadist is going to be your best weapon on choice with this. Now, I have seen Identity who sits there and says that status effect is better on this than anything else. It is not. Okay? Status effects does not help out your Sadist in anything, because that is the weapon damage to bleeding targets. It is not the bleed. Status effect only helps the bleed effect. And as y'all saw, the max status effect on bleed is going to be 112. With status effects on this, the status effects that you do from your bullet will only hit for about 100,000 more. This is not going to help this because the bullets on this alone hit for extremely hard. Now, we have Obliterate because we don't want to use glass cannon, but we need some damage out there. You technically could run, say, Spotter, or you could run the what's the name chest? You could run the Ridgeway's Pride if you wanted to get the extra bleed and survivability. That's fine if you want to do that. But the main piece to this is a Seska backpack. You want the crit chance out. Now, the reason we want the crit chance out is because of the Wicked as well. We want to crit these bullets. This is a must in that slot, the Seska backpack. Okay? So even if I were to use the Ridgeway's Pride, I still need the Seska backpack for the crit chance to get higher damage numbers. Period. Got to be. Best in slot. So we're going to status effect an enemy over here with the bleed. Get the kill. Now we got bleed bullets. Okay, so now that we have bleed bullets, that's the key to this. We're going to hit some chest shots. We got 561, 570, still going up because of Obliterate. Let's see what we max out at. Okay, Obliterate's max. 669. Now remember, we're hitting for 669 and we have some blue armors on here. Okay? So if we were to trade this out, we get armor regen and we get instant bleed. Okay, that's fine. That's if you want to do it that way. By all means, go ahead. Now, you could leave on the chest piece with ongoing because I believe that one also gives you some weapon damage. Not a whole lot, but some. And you can put on the contractor's gloves. But they're not best in slot. Even though the damage to armor would increase your bleed effects, that would be fine just as well. But you're going to lose out on a lot of damage. So we use Obliterate because we don't want to have to use glass cannon. There's nothing else that gives us any more damage and all that than Obliterate with this, just by shooting and getting the crits. And because we're critting with the Seska, Obliterate just kind of works with this one. Now, again, if we put this to all red, we could hit for almost 1 million per bullet. So, now that we have the bleeds as well, let's see the headshots. 8.37, we're not even maxed out. 8.93. So we're hitting for 8.93. So again, we have crit damage everywhere, and we have crit chance on certain spots. Now we have almost 50% crit chance, and we have crit damage. Now, again, the reason why we're using the crossbow is because if I bleed said target, our teammates now have 10%, and having 3 teammates is going to give them 30 total percent across 10, 10, and 10 for all of them to hit said target and bleed it out. So you can go with this. Now you can also, because the bleed, when you hit them with it, it's an explosive bullet, you can even go with the Grenadier. That's also going to produce more damage, okay, because it's an explosive bullet. Now the bleed effect will not do as much more, but this one here is going to give our teammates more damage. So it's a trade between this one or this for your specialist. Let's go to strikers. Now, strikers. This is just as good as, say, using the striker chest piece. If you want to use a striker chest piece, by all means, go put on the striker chest piece. You will get the same amount of damage out of this build. The only trade-off is you could put on the patriot gloves or the overlord knee pads if you wanted to. I do this because I'm double stacking, so I'm cutting down my time to get my bonus damage by doing it this way. Okay, this literally splits it down in half the time, which means I don't have to use a full magazine to kill someone because I've got more damage in half the time. Best weapon on this is going to be the apartment. Your second best one would be the ACS-12 shotgun because of the high rate of fire and the landing more bullets. But the apartment is by far, if you're going to use any weapon, the best in slot for strikers. Now, let me demonstrate before we go into the build any farther, because I want to show y'all what I mean by the chest piece and this. Then you see we have strikers ready to go. Watch both of them stack up at the same time. Boom. I've already got both of them, and I can do it in a shorter amount of time. Let's trade the target out. Let's go to here. Strikers are still going. Oh, I'm not losing a lot of damage. And you can see both will stack up at the same time. So, on this, because we're using the apartment, having everything crit damage and being able to roll to armor and put armor where you need it is best. So, find the ones with crit damage and roll the armor to weapon damage. Okay? Now again, you don't have to use the obliterate chest piece if you don't want to. Okay? You can use a striker's chest piece. It's going to take you a little bit more to get your stacks up compared to this one. And go with the overlord knee pads. Now I use the memento backpack because I don't need all that crit chance and crit damage. I want to get the multiplicatives. I want to get the armor regen. I want to be able to get that. Now in PvP, it's different. You'd want to run some kind of backpack with, say, companion, vigilance, to get the extra damage out, so on and so forth. But because strikers, you can take off this one piece right here, say, and put on Coyote's mask and then run like a vigilance type backpack instead of the memento, you can get some more damage out that way. Help your teammates out. That's on you. There's multiple versions. My personal version, which I love the most and just does so much damage so quick and gives me survivability, is this setup. Literally. I use this right here because, hey, if I'm going to get that extra survivability, I've got all the high crit chance. I can get the extra crit chance, crit damage, weapon damage, reload speed, and since I get all this extra reload speed, I mean, it's like instantaneous, just reloaded. Don't have to do anything. But because we're going to crap out so much ammo so fast with these two, you want the gunner. That way, if you get a kill, you get some armor on kill, you get the ammo back, you're not always having to hit the box. So, as strikers. System corruption. Let's talk about this one, because there's tons of different versions of system corruption. You can use the backpack. The backpack will give you that med pack where it's less time. And the med pack we're talking about is basically, it gives you the bonus armor, hides you 20 seconds, and it shortens it down, I think, to 15 seconds if you use the backpack. Honest to God, system corruption needs a whole rework. It really does, because that med pack for this, as I'm going to demonstrate, I hit the med pack. Let me get all my armor off. I get some armor and some blue, 50%. I think maybe it's the backpack that gives me 100% of my armor back. But what I want to talk about is this. if I were to, say, get a kill, you know, and I get the tag, I can get some blue armor back off this. But this backpack, the Memento, as well as, I think I have one in the stash, Bellstone, this one here, the Bloodsucker, is the only way to get the max amount of blue armor, unless you're using the system corruption piece, to give you this down here. Increase total damage by 1% per 5% bonus armor gained up to 20%. In order to have that, you have to have 100% of your armor in blue armor. Because of which, this talent, well, where did it go? Oh, not that one. This talent right here, Adrenaline Rush, will never ever give you the max amount of weapon damage, because you're only going to get 10% of that armor, or gain 20% bonus armor. So when you're in the DZ, that's 10%. So you'll never get the max amount of blue armor, and you'll never get the max amount of damage out of said build. The only two ways to get that armor is going to be, or three ways, is to run, I believe, the backpack. In fact, let me see if I have it in here, if it states, so we can confirm. System corruption. Yeah, so you could run the backpack of system corruption right here, and you would have 100% your bonus armor to get 100% of the weapon damage, or the 20% weapon damage out. The other way is Bloodsucker, and the last way is the Memento backpack. Those are the only three ways you will ever get the max amount of damage out of said build. So because of that, I run it with the Memento, because this is going to give me armor regen, it's going to give me weapon damage, and it's going to give me blue armor. And because we're getting the blue armor, and we have to have the blue armor, we run Intimidate. Now, this is changed up because of Intimidate's deal, so we may not be running this. Now, you can run the Tardigrade, but when your armor cracks, that's the only time you're going to have that damage, and by then you're not going to have anything, so you'd have to pop a med kit. So if you time it right, yeah, you could have some serious damage, but it's not going to be best. So you could literally put on the Adrenaline Rush backpack, put on a Tardigrade, but once your armor's cracked, that's your only surviving and damage time, is when your armor's cracked. So those are the two options you have, ladies and gentlemen, for system corruption. Is really the only two viable options you can put together. Shield, don't have to have, whatever you want, but because your job is to be close and personal with this type of build, because you got to get out in there, Firewall is best. Secondary would be Grenadier, because you can survive some burns. It's going to give you some extra status prevention, things of that nature. You can put on the minigunner, so if you do get the kill, you get some armor back on kill. Let's see. Tip of the spear. Now, I have showed this before. I don't have anybody here with me right now to show this. I have some previous videos. I'll just cut and edit those out when I redo this video completely. But tip of the spear, you want to run the Tardigrade. Just because when you kill something with your specialization weapon, you're going to help your teammates out. And because you're helping your teammates out, give them that bonus armor, you want to spec into armor on everything you have. Now, the strongest one is going to be, of course, the crossbow. It hits for 4.7 mil. It's also going to crack Chunga's armor, okay? And because it cracks Chunga's armor, it's also going to do a bleed and a status effect. Now, you can, if you want to, you can even put on the TAC 50. There's a version out here where everything you have is headshot damage on this. And because you have headshot damage, you could put on the Providence backpack, put on the tip of the spear knee pads down here, put on a Providence backpack with vigilance, so go get you a gift, get headshot damage and weapon handling, and then just run around and snipe things, and then for your backup weapon, put on the Regulus. But because we're doing that, we still want to, as we get those kills with that, we want to help our teammates out. We want to put on the tardigrade. It synergizes beautifully. Okay? Thank you very much. So if you want to, you can spec it in for headshot damage. Now I have this one here with crit damage, but I have found, because the DZ was supposed to, and I can't believe they didn't do this for us, the DZ was supposed to bring back specialization weapons into the Dark Zone. That was going to be the counter for Heartbreakers, because players could have that big armor. You could come over here and hit them with a grenade launcher and kill them. The devs took that out. They were supposed to be putting that in later on, which is kind of like, hey, now we got to wait. But the setup for Tip of the Spear can be done in multiple ways. If you want to do the crit damage, that's fine. I just do crit damage because I can put on any kind of weapon. I can even put on this and get the extra damage out. But the tip of the spear, I can't get that word out, is going to be hitting them with this. Now, because I've done that, I've increased my weapons damage. Now, I get to keep that green perk down there for 60 seconds, okay? As you can see, automatically regenerate ammo every 60 seconds, but my weapon damage is also increased by 20% for 60 seconds. So, you can do anything with this type of build. Now again, because we could spec into headshot damage, you could literally go and put on a Regulus, walk around with headshot damage and snipe things like crazy. Just got to hit those headshots. It's not going to give us anything else better, but we have signature weapon and weapon damage. So it's basically just whatever weapon you want to have, you're just going to have weapon damage. And because of that, that will also increase the pestilence tick, because we're increasing the weapon's damage. So again, if you put on vigilance and you put on, say, another piece with Walker and Harris, you could go over here and put that on and get even more damage out of the pestilence. I have one that I'm still working on because I'm waiting for the devs to say if they are going to put them in here. But if they do put in specialization weapons, what you would want to find, and I'm going to stress this, this is just one you want to probably farm for, but don't put it together, don't mess with it, don't do anything, is you want to find ones where the crit damage I have on here is explosive resistance. Okay? Explosive resistance, and then you can roll it to armor. The reason why is because that will stop the Grenadier, and if they do at some point, which they said they were going to, and then they retracted their word, this is going to become more toxic than my toxicity build, because people are just going to walk around and nude tube everybody all day long. If they do that, you want explosive resistance on this build and armor. Okay? That's going to be for PvP. True Patriot. I have multiple versions of True Patriot. This one here is just one I've messed around with, but I want to show y'all this version. Now, on here, you would want to have the crossbow, because we want to give our teammates the extra damage. Okay? We want to give them that extra status affected damage to enemies. Now, before I start showcasing the build, I want y'all to understand this build will boost your teammates' damage by, I believe, 20 plus 10 plus, say, 8. So we're talking 10 for here 10 for the backpack, 20 on the weapon, and 8. So you're going to boost your teammates' damage up to 48%. Okay? That's 48%. How do we do that? The crossbow gives us 10. The Scorpio, when it's maxed out, will give them 20. Opportunistic is going to boost it up an extra 10. And then when we put them on red flag, we get an extra 8. So this is a team booster build. Now, what does that do for us personally? Well, let's see. We have this one for all red. It's all crit chance, crit damage. We have opportunistic here. Let's give it a go. 309. It's immediately status affected. 343. 346 keeps going up with opportunistic. 471. Boom. So we have a huge magazine. Now, here's the cool part. Because the magazine is bigger on True Patriot, it allows us to get that 20 stack because it only takes 8 shots. See where I'm going with this? So we reload. We have 10. We only need 8 of those to stack, right? So let's try this against a player type damage in the DZ. So we're sitting, this player right here is going to be a 1.5 armor, okay? Purple on heroic is a 1.5 armor, okay? So let's give it a chest. 4 shots. Okay? Now they're status affected. Our teammates are able to shoot them and get the damage out. So let's wait for the red flag to come around. There it is. Almost 3.5. 3.5 and that player is gone. So let's say my teammates hit that sucker as I'm hitting the red flag. Now he's taking in all that extra damage. He's got that damage. He's got that damage. He's got the status affected damage. So let's go put on the status effect. Make sure we have shotguns on. Yes, we got shotguns. Okay, let's go. White flag. Blue flag. That's a debuff. Alright, there it is. Still 3.5. So now that player will be status affected from the Scorpio. We're going to have the crit chance. We're going to have the crit damage. We're going to have opportunistic proccing. So we basically just gave our teammates on just one shot and one shot alone 28% damage to that target. 28%. That's almost a little bit more than a future initiative. At the same time, if we made this full blue, which it normally starts off as full blue, it gives us that super tanky amount. And the more armor they have, the best part is the more armor the player has. When we shoot them with this, if they explode, that's going to kill or hurt their nearby teammates. So if you wanted to, you could literally make this with the Uzina Zekia and get 5% more damage out and put on the Badger Tough for Unbreakable or even Tardigrade to help your teammates out and go full blue with this. Just be a super tank and give out damage to your teammates, and the players will just fall and explode like crazy around each other. So that's True Patriot. That's kind of a fun one. I like to mess with. Bulwark. Now, I don't care about the guns that are here because the main one is this. Now, we have this here on. The devs, again, they said they were supposed to be able to put whatever specialist and whatever skill you wanted on. So we were going to be able to put on the firewall basically so we can get closer to enemies and help our teammates get damage out at the same time as putting the Artificer Hive on, but they took that away from us. They didn't put that in the update. And why the hell does my character have the decoy in his hand where the pistol is? Okay, that's weird. Anyway, oh no, that's a hive. Okay, so while we're talking about this, the artificer hive was supposed to be able to put on with the firewall. They took that away, and that would have given our teammates more damage. Now, with this build, okay, there's multiple ways to run this, but you need to have the Bellstone Armory backpack, just like this one, almost exactly like this one. You want the hazard protection and you want the armor regen. The protector is to help your teammates out. Now, this build is really only good in 2 spots, okay? The reason why it's only good in 2 spots is if you come over here and you face against this boss over here, he will pulse, he will do all that kinds of stuff. You're basically just going to be a bullet sponge, allowing to absorb the damage so your teammates can do the damage. Another one is when you go over and you do raids, okay? This is going to allow you to take in a lot of damage and allow your teammates to get damage out. Now, the only trade-off you would want to do is do the tardigrade. Now, the tardigrade is going to take away some status effects, okay, some hazard protection, which I wish they would take the explosive resistance and put on hazard protection right there, but I get why it is this way because of the tip of the spear. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. With Intimidate, on this one, you could use the perfect Vanguard, okay, if you want to, and give your teammates more blue armor every 45 seconds. I have this set because I like to also do some damage because I'm giving them all this extra armor anyways. I like to be able to do some damage at times. It's not a whole lot, but it's some damage. But as we take damage, the shield is going to basically give them that blue armor. And then if we want to resupply the armor to the shield, all we have to do is shoot a few headshots, and boom, we repair 3% of our shield, just like that. So we also, when we shoot gut shots, we're able to get some extra damage for the pistol. Now, the Foundry Bulwark pieces that we have is hazard protection. It's all hazard protection, okay? Reason why is because we're able to survive any kind of pulse, disrupt, anything. We put in disrupt resistance mods, so that way we are literally sitting at 100%. So let's go down and take a look. Disrupt, 99.6. So no EMP is going to shut us off. Period. Nothing. We're at 70% on almost everything else. And that's all we need to be at, because we have so much armor. Because we do want to take in some damage on our character, because if we take in damage, we also heal this. So fire, bleeds, things of that nature. It's going to help us heal our shield, because we're taking damage. So we don't want to not take damage at all. We just want to be able to take away the shut-off part where they can't take away our shield. That's Foundry. Let's see. Hunter's Fury. This is my fun one. I love Hunter's Fury sometimes. You can run it with anything you wish for an SMG. Okay? Lady of Death. You can even do backfire if you wanted to. A little tricky, but it's fun. Chatterbox is super fun. Now, a lot of people mistake this. Let's set this for close. That one's for close. Okay, so we are close to 1, 2, 3 targets. So I've shot a few bullets. As soon as I reload, you see down here at the bottom, that extra piece to my left, little orange box to my left, says ×4. Look at my RPM right now. It still says 700. Right? It looks slow. No, it's not. It's 4 times. So what the Chatterbox does is this. It's kind of glitched, it didn't show it, but basically, when you reload, the rate of fire is increased by 20%. So that's an extra 80%, okay, rate of fire. 80% of 700. This thing is almost shooting at vector speed. Even though it's not showing it right now, it is literally shooting at vector speed. So we get that high damage, and which may not seem like a lot, but that crit damage alone on here does help it out. The only thing I wish they would do is maybe increase this a little bit more in total damage for damage per bullet. It would be nice. Like maybe take it up to like 95.6 or something. I think this would be a viable solution to just running the Lady of Death to get the extra breathe fire. But breathe fire is just as good on this build. Now, if anybody knows about pummel, pummel is a great one. There's a perfect pummel. But I want to show y'all this KSG. The reason why is I want y'all to watch this right here. Still on veteran. Okay. Are y'all ready? Alright, we got 9 bullets left. Now we got 6. Oh, we just got 12. Oh, wait, now it's 2-shotting everything. Oh, even more. Oh, still 2 shots. But I want y'all to take a look at this. I don't have any of these going. I'm not getting stacks. I'm not getting damage. So let's go ahead and see if we have a... let's just do this. We'll throw on this bellstone. We're not going to get any extra damage or anything. We're just going to put on that one piece. Oh, we're 2-tapping things now. Okay. Yep, just straight 2-tapping everything. Almost 1-tapping. Now, imagine putting on this, getting an extra 30%. Yeah, you'd basically be 1-tapping stuff. And that's still, even though my top says hard, it's on heroic. We could basically walk around and 1-tap things all day long. So, the build is basically set up this way. We have Hunter's Fury. We have armor, armor, armor. Everything crit damage. You can see, crit damage. Crit damage. Then we have Iseska for the crit chance, with crit chance, crit damage on there. Right now we're sitting at 60% crit chance, 156. With this shotgun, we have crit chance everywhere we can, and we have crit damage. Now, on the shotgun, because we're using this, we get this extra mod, the 7% crit chance. That's how we get our crit chance out. We have crit chance here. So, we have Hunter's Fury build set up that way. Basically, even on hard, heroic, helping players out, this shotgun literally will almost, once you get everything started maxed out, you'll be 1-tapping things like crazy. Just walk around 1-tapping all day long. And this right here allows for infinite ammo at vector speed with high damage. So, that's Hunter's Furies, ladies and gentlemen. Rigger. The Rigger is a cheap man's mortar build. The only cool thing about Rigger is we can deconstruct traps and get them right back. But because of the update and the devs wanted to fix the traps, this is bugging out currently, right now. Deleting traps and getting them back sometimes does not work in missions. So, I don't know if it's a full patch or a temporary patch or something like that, but it is bugging out. So, because of this build, we are literally running everything skill damage and skill duration. We do not need skill haste. We do not need it at all. Okay? Because if we can do this right here, boom, they're back. Okay, let's take off skill haste. It's right back. Okay, so they might have done a silent patch. Yay, thank you devs, because you fixed that. Which means I wonder if it's working the same in PvP now. I'm going to go test that later. With this, we want one piece China. The skill haste is on there because, why not? We just got the skill haste. We don't technically need it, but okay. Skill damage, skill duration, China. Why China? Because it's about the explosives. We want to get the most damage for our buck. So traps and mortar. Now, what you would do with the mortar is, when you use it, you see we have 10 charges right now. Once we get down to, say, about, I don't know, 1 charge left, all we're going to do is basically just delete this thing. So we got 1 charge left. Okay, we delete. Boom. Comes right back. We get more mortars again as soon as we can throw it out. Now, the key is throwing your skills out there. Okay? The reason why is because you don't want to do this. You don't want to be here in cover, using your skill, trying to delete it, and then you walk over by it and pick it up, because then you have to wait. It's got to go on cooldown. So, toss your skills out there, leave them out, and deconstruct. Same with the traps. You toss them out. You can't pick these up, thank God. But because you can't pick them up, you have to delete them. Boom. Comes right back. So it's a cheap man's mortar build. On here, you can trade the waveform for a piece of wyvern and get some skill damage, but you're going to lose 20% total in damage. 20% total. Now, why I say 20%? Because even though this is 30, think about this. Wyvern gives us what? An extra 10, right? It also comes with skill damage and skill haste, right? So 10% added to it total across your skills. Waveform does not have that extra 10%. It has 20 or 30%, so we minus 10 from there. So we're getting 20% total extra in damage. So waveform still better in slot. Yeah, it's trading between the two, but you'll always have 20% either on this one or 20% on this one to max it out. Hardwire, this one here is kind of, I'm still iffy on this one. I have 2 versions of hardwire. One is my toxicity build, the other one is this one. Now this one here is basically endless seeker balls. Okay? Now how do I do that? This one here, it's just like rigor, but all I'm doing is this. Let my turret go out there, it's doing damage, it's killing targets. I toss my seeker balls out there. They get my balls. Pick this thing back up. And sometimes it works, and then I put it back out. Oh, look, more seeker balls. Oh, I toss it back out there. Turret's doing damage. I'm doing damage. Okay, we pick it back up. Okay, we put it back out. See how it bugs? That's why I say sometimes this thing works, sometimes it doesn't. So, now I got my seeker balls back. I had about 12 seconds left. Okay, they're back out there. Okay, we're doing damage. So on and so forth. We pick it back up. We put it back out. As you can see, it's still bugging. Let it cool down. Boom, we got our seeker balls back. We still had about 12 seconds. So it's endless seeker balls, basically. Now, the cool part about this version, I have this. As you can see. What does this give me? Oh, let's just go ahead and overcharge real quick. Cool. Now my turret's got more damage. Okay. While it's got more damage, throw that out there. Again, I didn't do it in proper timing, but we do that overcharge, and hey, guess what? Now our seeker balls got more damage. They come back even quicker, and it's a 15-second duration. We also get that every 60 seconds. So every minute we can do this. So that's one version of hardwire. Now my other version is my toxicity build. Okay, so let's go back to my main character. Alright, let's read some messages while we're looking at this.
Safe area detected.
Alright, so this here is another version of hardwire. Now this is a PvP version hardwire. This one here is super toxic. I call it toxicity, as you can see. Why do I call it this? Is because it is around the traps. It is literally a trap build. Now, we use the Bulwark shield to give us that extra armor so we can survive. But rather than skill damage, because traps don't need any skill damage apparently, we put hazard protection. We have hazard protection. We have armor regen, explosive resistance, because we want to help our teammates out. But we could put on a bellstone to give us a little bit of armor regen and do hazard protection. Hazard protection. Hazard protection. Hazard protection. Y'all gear, hazard protection. What does that do? Oh, that just gives us the ability to not have to worry about anything. We're at 70% total, all over the place. Now, here's the cool part. Because we're at this 70%, we're able to survive some burns, some bleeds, everything. Now, we have the technician on. Okay? The technician, the cool part about this is, if I were to, let's just go down here and demonstrate. Nice little chopper right there. I throw my traps. Well, hey, everybody's dead. The cool part is, while I'm by these, I can't get disrupted. I can stand by my traps and not get disrupted. Why? Because this specialist allows you to do so. So now, you might shut these suckers off and they explode, but it doesn't do anything to me. But at the same time, I can still pop my shield out, I can block, I can do everything, because I got my traps out. But I deconstruct those, boom, look at that, they're right back. Toss them back out. Okay, they're done. They killed the player, boom, done. It's bugs. So now we just wait a few more seconds. Boom. Do it again. Kill a player. Boom. Right back out. The hazard protection allows us to avoid the jammer pulses that they use to try to shut us off. So we have all that hazard protection to avoid the jammers. And they can't do anything to it. Now, I prefer to use this build on people who are camping doors. If you do not want to do that, that is fine. But as soon as they come out and they start camping the doors, traps come out, boom, they're gone. Now there's no more camping the door. Come back out. Oh, one's running away. Let's go back out. Kill that dude. Done. So, the feedback loop is where we shorten this down to every 20 seconds. But because we are using the backpack, we cut it down to 10 seconds. Because we cut it down to 10 seconds, we just need to put on a little bit of skill haste. The skill haste, because it turns it into that, instead of being a 30-second timer, we're sitting at 34. So that gives us 4 seconds to move around if we need to. If it locks up, it's only 4 seconds. So we toss them out. There's the kill. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. As soon as I delete them and I pop that shield back out, there's the 4 seconds. So we're at 34. So anything above 34, and you're going to have to wait a few more seconds. So we want to get this cooldown on your traps as close to 34. And this is how you do so. Now this also works against PvE Okay, so playing against ads, it'll kill them as well. So, now let's see, what else did we not talk about? Okay, Hasbro. Now, we used to be able to do the shield with InSync. Okay, because PvE bots didn't like that, and they didn't understand that you can hit headshots, we now lost InSync. Because we lost InSync, the other thing to go to would be either Strained or putting on, say, Optimus onto a AR like this. Other than that, the best go-to is going to be your Eagle Bear. Now, why I say Eagle Bear is because this tenacity buff will also block statuses. Okay? Because it blocks statuses, we're going to use that. Now, you can technically, if you wanted to, you could even run the Catharsis Mask on this build. Now, why do I say run the Catharsis Mask? Is because you're going to get extra damage out, and at the same time, if they do hit you with a status, and you are on status, this will remove all said status effects. Okay? So basically what we would run is a build similar to this. Okay? Looks just like this. One piece of Y'all gear, Badger Tough Gloves, Overlord knee pads, whatever weapon you prefer. And honestly, you can run the Fenris here. You could run Seska instead of the Grupo right here and get the same. You'll get more crit chance that way. And then you just put in some crit damage. Now it's going to hit a little less, but you can go with the Grupo if you wanted to. But because the Catharsis Mask allows for that extra status effects to come off, it allows us to take in some status effects to build up the damage. So putting this on stops all those status effects and damages. All you have to do is get a headshot kill. So this build just got even stronger with the Catharsis Mask. So this is going to be our go-to. This is a raid exclusive. So I suggest you go out there, ladies and gentlemen, and start farming for your raids. But because we put the Catharsis Mask on, we have now dropped from 100% burn resistance down to 90. You want to have 100% burn resistance because the burns are way too strong. So because of that, we've got to put in one piece of burn resistance maxed out. So if you want to set it up like this. Now, we don't have a whole lot of crit chance. That's why I was saying if you do this, you might want to throw on a Seska here instead of a Grupo. Or Seska here instead of a Grupo. Or a Seska here, you know, same thing. We just, wherever you have your Grupo for these three spots, which we originally had, trade it off. So if let's say you had a Y'all Gear chest piece. Okay, cool. And you had your Grupo here. Trade that for a piece of Seska. Okay? To do so is going to basically increase your crit chance from 20 on the Eagle Bear to 30. Yay, we get an extra 30. Okay, but we have the crit damage. Now, if we have a medic with our team, we'll have the extra weapon damage, so we're not too much worried about the crit damage. We're more worried about critting out those bullets more than anything. So, in so doing, that's also going to allow us to get the multiplicatives of the damage to armor and the damage targets out of cover. So this is how that build would be set up. You're going to be able to take in some bleeds, you know, some disrupts, things of that nature, and get 30% total more damage. And if you do take any of those other status effects like bleeds, it's going to drop that chem, get rid of it, and you're still going to be bleed resistant. If not, and you don't want to run that, you can run it same way as this before. Put on the Eagle Bear. Have it your go-to. Have all the hazard protection. Now we're sitting at 30 and 159. Then for our hazard protections, we're sitting at 80% to everything and 100% burn resistant. So we're getting damage out and we're getting the status effects pure immune. You stand right in the fire all day long. Yes, I said PvE bots because those are the guys who complained about NSYNC and didn't know how to land headshots. I will say that every single day. And this game is not just about PvE. This game is about getting your builds from PvE and going to do other stuff, not just doing this. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. I'm not the guy who's going to make things nice or anything. I'm the guy who's going to say exactly how I feel and what I want to say about it. If you don't like that, sorry. I tell it how it is. Because people want to complain about this right here. I will state this over and over and over. In-sync works if I were to even do this. I'm going to demonstrate it right here. I just used a skill, in-sync procs. That is a skill on the ground. Right? That's a skill. It's in my skill slot. Right? This shield is a skill. It is a skill. It even says shield skill tier on it. Yes, it is a skill. This is a skill when I use this. And now that it's gone, because they don't want it to proc with that, they didn't realize that it is a skill. So anybody who's a PvE bot who's been in the dark zone and thinks that the shield does not need to work within sync doesn't realize this is a skill. It is in a skill spot. It is a skill, period. I could put all yellow cores, I could put all blue cores and get the shield. And boom, it is a skill, period. So in sync should work with a skill. Yes or no? It works with a skill. Yes or no? Simple as that. Yes. If I hit you with said weapon, I gain skill damage. Use a skill, I get it for 5 seconds. The damage was only for 5 seconds. I would have to drop my shield to get it back if I wanted to get it done in that time. If they cracked my shield, I had no damage for my weapon whatsoever. So there was no problem with InSync. Never was. The people who complained were the PvE guys coming in there and getting roasted by PvP guys and complained about it because they couldn't shoot at their head. They always shot the shield. Is it hard to shoot past the shield on someone using this? No, not at all. Because there's the open head that you can hit. Now this shield, it blocks headshots. This one does not. So hitting players in the head was easy with this. The people who complained were the guys who didn't know how to hit headshots and were having a hard time. Is it still super strong? No. But now that the active regen's there, it's coming right back. Because the active regen is just as fast as the holstered regen. So, let's go to DZ status. Now that we're on PvP builds.
Low prices, big selection. That's what I've got.
Now, DZ status build. This is going to be your strongest DZ status build. Okay? Now, we want Creeping Death because we want to hit multiple players. Now, the only thing that's going to stop them from getting that damage is the Booster Hive or status effect hazard protection. So, this build gets immune to those two things. But if you want the most bang for your buck, the strongest damage possible, you want to run it like this. Now, you can trade this for this and give your teammates extra burn damage. Okay, that's an extra 10% on their damage. The fire right here will increase the burn duration, okay, giving more damage overall. However, if you want to run this one or this one, you must find one piece of Golan that you can run to a skill tier. Okay? Now, this is going to be the most damage for your butt. You want 3-piece Empress, 2-piece Wyvern, 1-piece Golan. pray to God this thing isn't still bugging. Skill haste, damage. Okay. So now we got this set. Let's go test it. 716. That's even faster. So let's test it with this once Creeping Death comes back. $559. That's way more than what your Eclipse will do. The problem is it doesn't continuously transfer over, because Creeping Death only lasts for 8 meters away and 15 seconds is cooldown. Now, we can increase this even more. We saw 711 on the sticky launcher, so let's increase this even more. $920. Now again, we showed y'all with the Eclipse that damage to armor increases. So one or this one is going to be best, because this one's going to give you extra status effects. So as simple as it is, status effect, skill damage, everywhere you can. Status effect, skill damage, because they're multiplicative of each other. As for a backup, we want the Everlasting Gaze with damage to armor, because the perfect perpetuation just helps it out even more. So if we were to hit that headshot, and you see we don't have the capacitor, we originally hit for 711, 856, just one headshot. If you were to say play against players right there, I hit that headshot, I left that on the ground and it still burnt them. Look, I just got a secondary burn. Let's show you all that one more time. The burn on that, just hitting them and not detonating, killed it. More ads come over there. Okay, we're waiting for Creeping Death. Boom. We still got it again, because that skill was still on the ground. We didn't have to hit perpetuation a second time. No one really knew about that part, but I just showed it. So, again, watch this. Hit the headshot. Got perpetuation. 856, right? Okay, they're dead. But perpetuation is still sitting on that sticky. So watch this. We're going to get it again. Creeping Death comes back. Oh, it didn't do it in time. Kill them. Okay, we'll just detonate it on this one. Oh, look, it's still damaging him. 856. Yep. 856. Oh, yep. See, perpetuation is still stuck on that one. So rather than killing or detonating it on someone, this even works in PvP. I can just hit you and you're going to burn to death. Now it's still on the ground. Anybody who comes over there again the second time, I get a secondary burn at the same damage. How many of y'all honestly knew about that? Let's see here. Okay, so as we demonstrated last night in the video, you only need 100% pulse resistance to stop Heartbreaker. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is this. The Heartbreaker stopping build, which is this one, will actually stop them if they're shooting your chest. Heartbreaker is still broken to where if I shoot you in the head with a bullet or with the shotgun or anything like that, I will still get the damage and the armor off of you even with 100% pulse resistance. We demonstrated this last night. So, Another thing is, Heartbreakers can also get damage off of the decoy. So we don't want the decoy, ladies and gentlemen. Do not run the decoy. We don't want to give them that extra bonus. So this build will stop it as long as they don't hit your headshot, right? Now, we also want to be able to see the player. We want to be able to get the damage out off of the player. So in so doing, we want companion because we want to keep near our drone. We also want to get the damage of the pulse out against them. So, in short, it's very simple. There's a player, Heartbreaker, before he gets any damage. Boom, he's gone. He has no damage. Another player, full armor Heartbreaker. Full armor Heartbreaker right here. Boom. Now, I don't know why that sucker pulsed right there, but let's go ahead and pulse. Now that we have all this other extra damage, let's see what we can do against him now. We basically just used 12 bullets. Heartbreaker's gone. He has no damage against us if he's shooting chest shots. If he's shooting headshots, he gets damage and armor. 12 shots, and Heartbreaker's dead. 12 shots, 10 shots, Heartbreaker's dead. Now, this build is very simple. We have contractor gloves, overlord knee pads because we want the multiplicative. You can craft all y'all gear in these 3 spots. In the mask, in the chest, and in the holster. Okay? Where can you craft those? Those are right over here at the crafting bench. All you have to do is get y'all gear pieces. When the clan vendor typically drops them, they kind of screwed everybody over when they reset the clan vendor. But y'all gear mask right here. Craft it. Okay? If you have the components. Chest piece. Craft it. Right here. Holster. Craft it. Right here. If not, you can go to any DZ, find them, and they should be dropping. Right now, this is backpack mods. We have masks, so I would suggest go down here, get you some y'all gear masks, and maybe just stay in this DZ. Even though, yes, it's occupied, stay in this DZ. Go get you some y'all gear. Okay? It's a mask. You got a better chance of getting some masks right there. The other thing is, because of that, we can literally put on, and we showed that Fenris, because we're using that weapon, is going to be best in slot. Companion, you can run Vigilance if you wish, okay? Player's choice. But the Kingbreaker with this is still even more. So what I will do is I will demonstrate the difference between the Kingbreaker and I believe I have the AK. Yes, I do. Excuse me. And it is still on heroic. Yes. Oh, no, it's on hard. Never mind. Why did you flip back? You're supposed to stay on heroic. Okay. So here we go. That's probably why I was only doing 12 shots. I knew it was something weird about that, but okay. So we have a full damage, full armor Heartbreaker coming at us. Okay. That's a full armor, all blue Heartbreaker build in damage. Is a yellow on heroic. So we have our pulse, we have our companion, and we have the Kingbreaker in hand right here. Now another thing is someone showed me is this. We can take some crit chance off and put on this stability, and the Kingbreaker becomes a laser beam. So here we go. 20 bullets. He's gone. He has no damage. He has to hit the headshots to get his damage and armor. That's it. Without that, he hits nothing. 20 bullets. He's gone. So, let's do this. We're hitting for 747. 747 on the crit. So let's switch over to our AKM. And let's do the same thing so we don't have any difference. Let's put on stability. 747, right? 739. We saw a max of 739. Now, what's the difference between the two? Only 4K in damage, but we're still losing out by using the black market. So, because it's not the perfect flat line. Plus, we have the same, or no, there it is. Yeah, there, okay. We have literally this more damage, less RPM with the black market, ladies and gentlemen. We have a little bit more damage because we have 5% here versus the 15%. So either one of these, honestly, if you can't find a good Kingbreaker, go get a black market AKM, okay? Either one of these is good. The Kingbreaker will be your best end slot for damage. Okay. Now you can also, instead of the Kingbreaker, you can come over here if you really want to lay down your enemies. Go get you a police M4. Okay. So let's demonstrate this one. It's pulsed. There. More bullets, but we rip through his armor and everything else just the same. But because we don't have that bounce, we don't need to get rid of that stability and the crit chance. We can leave the crit chance on this. Okay? $30 bullets versus 20 bullets. Basically is the difference. 20 bullets here, 30 bullets here. Both are the same. And no, I have not efficiencyed this yet. So it's not having it doesn't have any extra damage. The only thing I have efficiencyed is the sniper rifle. So either one of those two as AR is good. Close range, close and personal, I'm going to suggest get yourself a custom M870 just like this one with flatline. If y'all watched the video last night, this is the type of damage we got from that. Roughly 3 shots, player was gone. Sometimes it may take a fourth, but that way you have something strong to back it up. If not, and you still want to run the anti-Kingbreaker with the Kingbreaker type setup, get you an ACS 12, go like this. The reason why we want the flatline is just because it's more damage. You can go and get you a rocket roll, which gives you 30% or 30 bullets instead of 20, but it's still not going to do as much damage. And we're throwing out a lot of ammo. Wasted ammo. So that's player's choice. But it's basically the Kingbreaker type setup, if you want to call it that. This is not a meta. This is really just a situational build for countering the Kingbreaker or Heartbreaker setup. So again, this is just a counter to that. Does the Heartbreaker have a real actual counter? No, because again, I'm going to show this right here to you. I got to get out of here. I'm going to show this right here to y'all. Again, we tested this in the video last night. Gator was my testee. Here is the problem with Kingbreaker, and I will demonstrate it with this ad right here. If this person were to have 100, or this target had 100% pulse resistance, as long as I hit that head, I get my armor and I get my damage. Why? Because of this one piece right here at the very top of Heart Stopper. Headshots apply a pulse for 5 seconds. That is the glitch that the devs have to fix in order to get rid of the pulse, or to allow pulse resistance to work. As long as you hit those headshots with Heartbreaker, you will still be pulsed even at 130% pulse resistance, as long as they shoot the headshot. So, now with that, there are still some other like my pistol build. It is still just as strong. As a matter of fact, it's even gotten stronger. The reason why is because as long as I can stay near you, I still get the damage. Okay? Problem is, yeah, my shield may not be able to survive as much anymore, but here's the cool part about this. With my active regen going up, because it is at 13, I get 13% active regen. When this thing hits 20, I'll have 20% active regen, which basically makes this thing just, it just absorbs a lot of damage. It would still take you at like flatline and everything else to get that extra damage. So all I have to do to counter you with, say, flatline is I can take off this crit damage and put in pulse resistance into my mod slots rather than having the crit damage there. I can now turn this build, if I put it here, here, and here, I can literally put myself at 80% pulse resistant, and I take away your flatline from doing damage to my shield. I take away your spotter ability to do damage to my shield. And in so doing, I still get to keep, and I'll even demonstrate this right here, I still get to keep my damage if I even put on, say, blue mods into this just to kind of show y'all, rather than having to go find all those mods real quick. I still get to keep my damage. 2.6. I still get to keep that, and I take away everything from you. So is the shield still gone? No, because all I have to do is to counter your pulse on any one of my previous PvE builds. Anything. I'm just taking off crit damage and putting on pulse resistance, because everybody's running flatline. Everybody's running spotter on their chest piece. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So any PvE or PvP builds that you had prior, all you're going to have to do to change that up is literally go over and get some pulse resistant mods and put those in. Because basically everybody's running flatline. I would suggest, if you want to counter anybody with flatline and you want to still get your damage out, is either go to measured or go to optimist. Okay, that's it. All your PvP builds that you had prior, switch that up, take off some crit damage, put in pulse resistance, and you're going to feel like you were doing just the same amount of damage as you were before. You could still come over here and run a shield of any sort that you wished. They won't be able to get that damage out. Yeah, you're going to be able to get it cracked, but I mean, even Heartbreaker is going to be stopped just by that pulse resistance, as long as they don't hit your head. So my shield build just got stronger thanks to pulse resistant mods. I mean, that's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. I can still go out here and 2-tap you or 3-tap you all day long with a pistol now, and you don't get nothing special from it. So I'm going to leave that one on the builds, because there's still some more builds that we might see some new metas come out if they fix Heartbreaker. But some people asked for some specific questions, so I'll leave this open for some questions as well. There's also my focus build. Let me show the focus one for PvP. This one here just got just as strong, because now I can still do, for instance, I can still do this wall, shoot through the wall, basically stop you there, get the damage out, as long as I stay at distance, and I can give my teammates the pulse, because they're pulsed and they don't have to do anything for pulse. They can take off their technician and get some extra damage out just by doing this. So I'm supporting my team at the same time. The focus build is basically Coyote's Mask, Seska, Grupo, Walker, Petrov, and Overlord. And I have this as a backup, because just in case you get close and personal, I got you covered either way. Is there a pistol build for PvE? Yes, I mean, this build, the pistol build, literally works for PvE as well. Just stack it into crit chance, crit damage. Let me see, what else do we have? I think that's about it. Oh yeah, the regen one. This one here, again, because you have the high regen. Let's demonstrate that one. .5% armor regen. And if I want to take it to 7.5, all I have to do is this. Memento backpack. Because I get 3% extra on top of that. And then I get all the crit damage and the damage to you at the same time. So basically, if I wanted to get more weapon damage, I would trade the Gilligard mask right here. I would trade it for, say, a piece of Sokolov, like this backpack right here. So I can get some damage out. I got the Lady of Death to give me the most damage. I have armor regen and crit damage everywhere. Armor regen, crit damage on a perfect intimidate. Second piece of Golan for the armor regen. Bellstone, extra armor regen, plus armor regen, crit damage. Murakami knee pads, armor regen. And we are sitting at... Where did it go? I think it's down here. Armor regen, 87.5, and that's sitting at 4.5%. When this gets up to 7.5, we're talking 142,000. So, yeah, this is 4.5 right here. Why not the blue screen? Which build was I showing? You mean the focus? Actually, I don't even know. Does focus... You know, that's a great question. I haven't even tested that. Let me see. Does the blue screen work with focus? Nope. Shouldn't. Nope, doesn't work with focus. So what build were you talking about? The blue screen with what build? Can you stack exotic parts? Yes, you can. So if you were to let me get to that question real quick, and then I'll get back to the blue screen when you tell me what build it was. So people want to know how you stack exotic parts. Okay, so right now I have left over, I have 75. So let's say I'm at 100. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm at 100. I would take those to the extra exotics that I have, deconstruct those on my character that I just took to New York. Now, before I come back from New York, I deconstruct those. I will come over here to Anaya. I will talk to her. There will be 2 yellow things, accounts shareable and accounts blueprint shareable. You will donate between those. So those 20 or 100 or so exotic components that you just deconstructed on that one mule character will come over to here. So if I'm at 100 with these characters, that extra 100 I just deconstructed will now put me at 300 when I do those account shareables right here. So that's how you can stack up those exotic components. But because we consider it 100 and it's going to take exotics to maximize this stuff, I don't really see any point in doing so anymore. Okay, like you had the flatline resonance build. Okay, so the flatline. So, are you talking about my hunter one with the flatline? Because we're pulse resistance and we can get the pulse out. Yeah, I haven't tested that yet. I was thinking about testing that later today. Kind of read my mind beforehand. So let's go ahead and do a test with that, shall we? It's on heroic still, thank God. Didn't switch over this time. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we stack up the deal, we stack it up. Okay, and then we pulse. Get the damage. Not much more different, but yeah, you could potentially get that. Let's see. So that doesn't work. That does. Okay, so that would shut them off, and you still get that. So the only bad part I see about it is I have to use a skill. So I'd have to deconstruct, let that skill go away, and let's say I put on a pulse. The good thing is I'm down here. So let's say I had on the Gilligard mask, the Gilligard pulse mask, where I can get it back in 20 seconds. So I can also shoot this player, because that's what I've found is to be the best way to get this out. So I hit him, I pulse, boom. Done. May get buff on debuff. Let me see. Pulse disruptors range marks meters target. So this right here, honestly, I see the blue screen honestly just working best with Heartbreaker if you're going to use it because of a few reasons. Okay, I can do, say, a pulse. I could even drop a chem launcher. I could do a regular pulse. I could do something. It's got to be a skill without a shield. So because of so, we're able to get this extra pulse on, say, an enemy that we kill. So let's demonstrate this with shooting these guys.
Invite to another agent's group. Receive.
Awful. I'll be over there in a minute. Watch my live. You'll see what I'm doing. I'm testing stuff out. Leave me alone. Love you, bro. Okay, so we have this going on. So we shoot. Okay, we're stacking him up. We pulse, we get that. It pulsed all those targets nearby, as you saw, before we did anything. So let's get rid of the drone, so we don't get the extra pulse from the drone. Okay, we stack it. Did I do that backwards? I think I did that backwards. Let me double check. Okay, yeah, it's when they're killed. Okay, that's what I thought. I did do it backwards. Again, still got a little learning curve on some of these things. Okay, so we stack. Target's getting stacked. Nearly dead. We drop something, get the kill, everything gets pulsed, but it doesn't transfer over. That's the one thing I don't understand about this. Is, from what I understood, pulse and disrupts and destroy any marked targets and all hostiles within 10 meters of the marked target for 5 seconds. This effect will trigger immediately if any marked enemy is killed. So I killed that target, right? It marked him fully. It should transfer that stagger and everything else over to him. It states that in the deal. See, it doesn't transfer those pieces over, which makes me wonder if it's bugged. Oh, proficiency. No, that is stuck. So whatever these are is what they are. So basically the devs went to expertise. If you look at each one, we go to our specialization. It is stuck for weapon damage, as you can see right here. The next one I'll get is 14% weapon damage. So all your specializations will get weapon damage. All your weapons will get weapon damage. As you can see, weapon damage increase. All of your named and other gear, it's all going to be armor. If you want skill damage, it's going to be on your skills. So each one of these gets something special. So we got damage increase, burn damage increase, EMP, blast radius, which I was finally able to get this sucker maxed out because it stopped graying out on me. All these get something special. Like basically all the shields get active regeneration increase. So that's where you're going to get your skill damage. So basically your skills will get skill, your weapons will get weapon damage, and your gear will get armor. That's it. There's no way to change between. So for instance, if I go to my pistol, Liberty, it's stuck at maxed out for the weapon damage. I'm at 13. There's no way to change it between, say, giving me armor, giving me anything like that. The same thing goes for all your other gear. There's no change. It's either armor, weapon damage, or skill, and that's only for the ones that they are. Let's see. When you upgrade, would Wicked work with the status effect on Spotter and Flatline? Actually, yes. So, for instance, you can do, and this is another fun one I found. So, rather than doing this, I went with Heartbreaker here. And where did it? I don't have it on here. Okay. Let me see if I have it in here. Okay, I have a Fenris with Wicked. Okay. Now, this is kind of tricky because you only get this for a short period of time. So, if I wanted to, and I'm going to show y'all with the gunner, okay? This one here is a lot of fun for Heartbreaker. So, we put on, let's put on the Kingbreaker. And let's put on the Banshee Pulse. Now, this one is a forward arc of pulse that also disorientates and causes a status effect. So, while we have this going, we can even have on a regular pulse so we can get the extra damage out, or if we just hit headshots, they're already pulsed. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, we are missing some crit chance and crit damage, so don't mind the damage numbers. We're just going to show you that this stuff works. Still on heroic, thank God. All right, here we go. So basically, this build is going to give us 100% bonus armor, not 200%. We're going to have 100% damage from this, and we're going to have 18 from here. We're also going to get the flatline as well, and we're going to get this extra armor. So we're not worried about the crit damage mod. So ready, set, and there's the pulse, and it's still not pulsed. Notice that? It bugs. So let's change this thing back to a Banshee Pulse. So we don't have to worry about that. It's still not pulsed, but let's pulse it now. See the square? It's got that. And look down below. We got Wicked. So that target was basically pulsed and status affected at the same time. So now we hit the headshots. We get the pulse with flatline. Let's go ahead and stack up our damage. And let's see what we can max out at. Dang, only about 15 bullets. We're hitting for 1 million. We're all armor. 1.1. And now we get to keep that 1.2. We're full armor, ladies and gentlemen. And we're heading for 1.2 mil. 1.2 mil. Full armor. Look at that. All armor. My DPS like this with an AR hits for 1.2 mil. This all blue hits for 1.2 mil. So imagine getting weapon damage on these now, going by a 3x3. So, yeah, we basically get Wicked out this way. We still have 100% armor. Things can't shoot us when they're status affected, and then, yay. So, and on top of that, the cool part is with the minigunner, hey, we get ammo. We don't have to worry about ammo now. So, again, the Heartbreaker allows for multiple ways to get damage out, whichever way you prefer. There's tons of different ways to make the Heartbreaker. Again, I've even got one with, excuse me. I got one with the perfect clutch. I tested that thing out. I never go below 20% armor. Never. Because while I'm getting that bonus armor, I'm also getting clutch at the same time. It never loses armor. Like, I will always be at 20%. So there's tons of ways to run Heartbreaker, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, from the way it looks, the devs made one build to be a kind of meta in the DZ, and all you have to do is be really good at hitting headshots, and there's no way to take the damage and the armor away from a player. Because we demonstrated that last night in my video about the Heartbreaker versus 100% pulse resistance, and Gator was still able to get armor and damage from just hitting headshots. And that's just because of this top part of Heart Stopper. Headshots apply a pulse for 5 seconds. So against players, there's no stopping this. You just have to hit headshots. So if you're good at hitting headshots, I would suggest go put everything for crit chance and then just start beaming people in the head all day long. Okay, any more questions before I potentially end this? Would I run Heartbreaker with the same setup for PvP? As I have it right now, yes. You could run Heartbreaker for PvE just like this. If I wanted to do PvP, I would definitely use the backpack because you have the more armor. Now again, it's also situational because if someone comes out with a pulse resistant build, your Heartbreaker is going to just go in the tank unless you're good at hitting headshots. So I would definitely run the backpack if you're doing PvP. PvE, you can run whatever you want to get the extra damage out to kill targets, honestly. Vigilance is iffy. I can't remember who it was that was saying use Vigilance, but the reason why I would not run Vigilance is if I were to lose my armor and they hit me, immediately I lose Vigilance. Vigilance is blocked by the blue armor. But again, if you lose all your blue armor, you lose Vigilance. So then you lose damage. So if it was me, I would run with Wicked and preferably get 18% versus 25, and I could easily just reapply that because this comes back in 20 seconds, and right now with all this, it's 25. So I have about 4 or 5 seconds of no damage. And even still, if I were to throw this grenade at them, boom, I would get that automatically. I could even put on, like one person also suggested, I could put on a hive and get the burn on them. I could put on riot foam and riot foam a player into place, or even a NPC into place, and boom, I get wicked back instantly. And then I can move around while they're trying to get out of foam and still have this damage. Let's see here. Yep, no problem. But again, if you run with spotter on your chest piece, we showed that yes, you can get instantaneous damage out against PvP players, but in the end run, you are losing 35% damage. Now, another fun one is doing the hunter-killer, because then we're only losing 10% damage, and we can keep it going for even longer. Yeah, again, the defender drone is also going to be, it's going to get a buff, because as you can see right here, we have the defender drone, and this is at level 0. Okay, it's gonna, if you were to max it out, you get an extra 20% damage reduction. So players are going to be maxing out their defender drone and using that against other players, because it's going to stop, not just like right now. If I put the defender drone on, I'd be sitting at 21% with the deflect duration and damage reduction. I'd be getting 41% damage reduction. And that's at 0. A level 0. Okay? That's if you max this thing out. So 40% damage reduction, nobody's going to be worried about shields or anything if they get defender drones maxed out. Yep, no problem. It honestly depends on the pistol build that I have set up. If you're going to use it for PvP, I would go with the Liberty, because for one, you get the extra damage and you get the repair shield to the Bulwark. It's also good for PvE that way as well. Regulus is if you are really good at camping or knowing where the doors are. You can spec this build into crit chance and headshot damage. So rather than having where I have crit damage, you can put everything for headshot damage. Now, the reason why you would want to do that is so that way, when you hit those headshots, it's going to do way more damage to them. Okay? But that's only for players who know where the doors are on PvE, can walk up and hit them, and so on and so forth. As for PvP on this, not so great unless, again, you're really good at hitting headshots, because one, the explosion will kill players that are nearby within 5 meters. Yes, that is true. But once players realize you're using the Regulus and you've killed them a few times like that, they're going to space out. Now you don't get that explosive. And then they're shooting your shield, it's not going to do you any good. So this right here repairs your shield. So to me personally, the Liberty is still the better weapon to use. And I don't know why, but earlier today, this sucker was reading at 470, and this one here is reading at 500. On this build, I haven't changed anything. And now it's down to 406. There is something going on where it keeps, because again, my Regulus was, oh yeah, duh. Because I changed that one trying to show y'all that, I swear, I forget these things sometimes. And yeah, okay, so it's back. Yeah, we just got 40k more. And let's see here. And that's 3 mil at heroic. So basically I can stack. Let's show you all that about the pistol. Alright, we're stacking up damage. Trying to get this thing to max out on damage before we hit the headshot. Alright, we're at 30. Let's take this to a level 1.5 armor build in the DZ. Yeah, there's been some talk on Reddit posts. Some devs I've seen that they're thinking about reverting, because apparently they were supposed to just leave it at 1 exotic component and it wasn't supposed to go any higher. And apparently it doubled, so it was at 2, and then it goes to 13 to 3, and so on and so forth. And they were supposed to just leave it at 1, so it'd be like 12 to do it to level 11, 12 to do it to level 12, 12 to do it to 13. Not supposed to go to 12 to 24 to 36. Yeah, it became retardedly, like, just stupid at that point. So there's no point in going past 11 right now with your builds unless you just have the exotic components. Like me, I could take this entire build to level 13 if I had the watch points, because I have enough exotic components. Yeah, the only build that I don't have fully done right now is this one. It is literally the only one I'm waiting to find the one piece for. And when I do, this is going to get a buff, an even bigger buff. But other than that, it's all the builds I've shown you that are in the game that are really viable, actually do damage, and so forth. Again, this one here is the anti-Heartbreaker build. Again, it does stop damage on the chest. It does not stop the damage if they hit you in the headshot. We got our pistol build. It is still the strongest in the game. I can still 2 to 3 tap players. I can even still 2 or 3 tap a Heartbreaker. I can 2 or 3 tap this one. I can 2 or 3 tap almost anything. Focus build, same thing. 2 or 3 taps. Players in the dark zone. Armor region is situational. This is my door clear or toxicity build. DZ status. Hazard protection. Again, we showed that the Catharsis mask will also give you the piece off there. Run the Eagle Bear. Yeah, and sync is messed up, so now I got to go find a new one for that. Team support, which is for legendary missions. Explosive, we showed that this one here, because of the status effect and the extra piece from the Empress International, is still just as strong and literally gives even more bonuses. Eclipse, we explained the two versions of this. Corpsman, which is our medic, we explained why RNK is even better. Skills, we showed that this one here still hits just as strong as KVD's lying little mean jackass is, and why it's still just as good. DPS, we showed that focus is actually your stronger kind of go-to. And we went through all the other green builds on the other character. So and everybody keeps asking about this purple pistol. This is my little deal. Is proficiency the only way to upgrade stats on an exotic?
Nice to see you.
You mean... Wait, that might be backwards. Is proficiency the only way to upgrade stats on an exotic? I don't understand, because... You mean exotics are the only way to upgrade on proficiency kind of deal? I don't understand. Get more details on that question, please, because I'm kind of lost on that. But while he's doing that, the reason for the purple pistol is it's a visual deal. It scares players. For instance, if I go to Hasbro, and people see me on my hazard protection build, they see the purple pistol. It scares them because there used to be a damage glitch which was for the level 30 pistols. And I don't do the damage glitches or anything like that, but because it was on there, I said, what the hell, I want to scare players. So what I did was I found a pistol that was a level 40 and it was purple, and I just put it on the character and maxed it out. So when people saw it without actually going to check to see it was a level 40, they would think I was doing the damage glitch and they would dip out of the lobby. So it was kind of a, oh shit, it would scare them and they'd walk away. So it was just kind of a, a little mind fuck against players. And sometimes it still works too, because they're like, oh my god, he's got a purple pistol, and they run away. They're like, oh my god, he's doing the damage glitch, since all the glitches are kind of coming back. So it's not a level 30, it's a level 40, so it's my personal little mind fuck against players. Yes, Coyote's Mess still hits the hardest for all of them, because you get the crit chance and the crit damage.
Could use some more crafting materials. I really should make myself a
Let me see here. What do you say? Okay, like weapon damage rolls. So, is proficiency the only way to upgrade stats for weapon damage rolls? You can donate exotics. For instance, I could donate pistols and get this even higher faster. But using the other stuff, it's still going to be like using the printer filament. It's going to be faster to get some of these maxed out. But like for instance here, you're going to have to use them or donate printer filament to get these maxed out. But this will give you weapon damage, and weapons themselves, they all get weapon damage. You see weapon damage increase, weapon damage increase, weapon damage increase. So I wonder if that's what you were meaning. And for instance, like this, even Coyote's Mask, armor increase, armor increase. So this one's got weapon damage, this one's got armor, this one's got skills. There's still, everything is armor. Everything. Even this one, armor. Honestly, if I'm going to run legendary, I run it with a full 4-man so we can trade between stuff. But me, I run this. This is my team support build. Because I'm giving out my teammates this extra damage. Okay? Now, if they're running, I would run, if you have one of those legendary builds like I have, which is my team booster, I would run focus. One person running a focus build and doing damage, and the other 2 players would be running skills. Because with this legendary, with my team support build that I have on, I'm giving you, when I find that backpack, I'm going to be giving you 150% more skill damage and 60% more weapon damage. So having one of these builds on in your group is vital. And then if I give overclock, I'm giving you 250% more skill damage for 15 seconds. So I have my previous video where it shows the damage to a Chonga, and the Chonga is gone in like less than 2 seconds because of the skill efficiency. And on top of that, if I were to come over here and max out my expertise on the Artificer Hive, I'm also going to get an extra 20%. So that's how I'll be getting some extra damage as well. So the only trade-off is, for this backpack that I have, I want to find the Uzina Zekia backpack so I can have armor for my character. It would give me the perfect opportunity, which would jump this up by 5%. And then I would take this weapon core off, put it back to skill tier, and be done with it. Okay, so if you just have a 2-man, seriously, just run one of these builds right here and have the other person running skills. Because on a 2-man like that, you can both have survivability and damage. So having the skills-based one like this will give you personally weapon damage off the skill and skill damage, and then this person is boosting that person basically by 150% and their weapon by 60%. So basically making it feel like your 2-man just turned into a 3-man. Now, you personally, if you're running the team support, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, but you're going to give him that survivability because he's going to have that glass cannon. So you're going to stay right beside him, give him the chem launchers. You're going to be boosting his skills. So it's going to feel like you're, again, another 2-man or 3-man team. He's running the skills and you're running the healer part. So it's just as strong. What up, brother? How is it going? Your videos are best. Thank you very much. Cool. Thanks for Jason. Look into making those. Yeah, I would definitely make those too. Now, again, if the devs, and I want to stress this enough, if the devs actually gave us what they said they were going to give us, and we're going to allow to throw, say, the artifact onto any special said they were going to, which was when one of the last state of the games before they came out with this update, we were going to throw the crossbow on and throw the Artificer Hive on. Now, doing with that would have been nice because then that's an extra 10% to status affected enemies to our teammates, and that would jump their weapon damage up to 70% and their skills up to 260%. But they didn't give us that. All right. Any more questions before I end this? Because I got to get a drink. My throat's killing me after all this. Right now I stopped at 13. It's slowly going up because I found out, again, I'll show y'all. This is what I found out. When I went to go upgrade my Liberty, I was testing a build. The exotic components were becoming outrageously it was going to be completely crazy to go anywhere higher than 11. So I stopped at 12, got to 13. I've been slowly going up after that. The reason why is because at 11, it would cost you 12 exotic components to max out the build to 11. And then when you got to 12, it was going to cost you 24. 13 was going to cost you 36. 14 was going to cost you 48 exotics. And I'm not meaning like it would be on top of those 11 or 12 that you just used. No, a total of 48 to take everything to from 13 to 14 and so on and so forth. So, yeah, it's honestly at this point, unless they patch this, there is no point in making any of your builds past 11. Seriously, because it's going to cost you way too many exotics. I think, if I remember right, the total build, like just one, and I'll put it this way to y'all, one build to max out proficiency and efficiency, okay, one total build would cost you almost about, say if you had a fresh watch, it would cost you roughly about 3,000 to 4,000 watch points because of the protective fabric, the printer filament, the SHD, the field recon, all that. It would cost you about 4,000 watch points to max out one build. And then with the exotics on top of that, it would cost you 660 exotic components to max out one build to level 20. Yeah, again, like I told everybody in my deal, if you want to be at level 11 in a day and you have 4,000 watch points, or you can get a few characters where you can have 4,000 watch points, you can literally be at level 11 in one day just by coming over here and crafting all these weapons and all these name brand pieces and donating them. That's it. You can be at level 11 in one day's time. All you have to do is have 4,000 watch points. So say you're at 1,000 on one character, and you have 1,000 watch point, or 1,800, and you have 1,000 watch points on the character, and you go make 3 more characters, you'll be at level 11 expertise in one day. Let's see here. Yeah, did you donate every weapon and all named gear that you had? Because, again, the other part to this, like I said, it's mainly just the weapons, because all of these, I did all of these down here in a day because I had all the brand sets. And again, it's just throwing 6 pieces on. So That's what I was saying. The hardest part is these because there's so many weapons. This is what slows you down on your expertise. So if you donated all your weapons and got those done, cool, you were done. And then all you had to do is come down here and do your brand sets and your gear sets, and you'd be at 11. So putting on 6 pieces of that was so much easier. Like there's a few of my friends, they're already at 15. They've got every one of their brand sets, all of their gear sets, donated all that stuff, and they used their watch points on skills, and they're at 15, 16. Because the hardest part is these. Because there's so many named gear and exotic gear to max out, and you can only wear one piece, that's why it's the hardest for these. So if you want to do those are going to be a little bit more time consuming because there's a lot of chest pieces, there's a lot of backpacks. And you can only get X amount of XP for just wearing one piece at a time. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we showed y'all settings again at the beginning of this video, so I'll kind of just go back to this. We showed you settings on how to do that. And oh yeah, someone did ask about this before we go to settings and everything. Apparel, how to make your characters look a certain way, how to put certain things on. If I put this mask on, this is your level 100 mask. It literally states that's what it is. It's in this area. I think it's right about below this one or so when you normally put it on. So that one's there. As for the color dyes, we have all of these that you can put on your weapons. Some of them actually look pretty cool. I want to see if that FAL, because that's pretty neat looking. All of your weapon dyes and stuff. As for your gear, how to make it look a certain way. And you see my colors stand out, okay? You see I can change all these. The colors just pop. The colors are really vibrant. If they're dull, they're dull. Again. So how to make them look that way. So let's go to my pistol build because it's got the brightest ones. And we'll show. So on how to make yourself stand out in colors, the brightest colors. You need this backpack. So the ones I have favorited will show you the best colors. Now we use this one because this literally tightens up everything for PvP so you don't get shot. We explained this in one other video. Versus if I put this one on, see how bulky it gets? If I shorten it down, people can't shoot the backpack. That's an extra way for players in the dark zone or conflict to get extra damage because your backpack sticks out too far. So you want to find a small backpack. There's this one, and I believe someone also said a Wyvern or a Hannah U backpack. So let's go take a look at those. Oh, the Murakami one's another one. It's pretty small. It's nice. But the Wyvern one, yes, the Wyvern. This one here is another good one as well. The only problem I have with this one is it doesn't bring the colors out. So I don't prefer that one. You can use it, but that's on you. And then the Hannah U, I think I might have passed it. Oh, Hannah U. No, right here. This one is nice. The backpack looks cool, but the shoulder straps don't look cool. So, again, those are some good ones. Chest pieces. If you want the best chest pieces, the ones that are going to bring your colors out, I use this one for my medic. This medic one, it gives that red in the chest. So, for instance, if I go to my corpsman, you see, got the red cross on the front. I'm a medic. I got the red cross. Another bunch of chess pieces that I have is this one. This one brings the colors out as well. But because we don't want, you do not want these type, because that extra piece around your neck, for some reason, it gives extra headshot damage. Because I don't know why, but hitting that spot just makes it where you hit headshots. So be careful of what you're doing in PvP. Okay? Make sure you're not putting on something that is going to give that. For instance, as well as like these extra pouches. If you have your gun aimed and shooting, those are close to your elbows, but they can shoot through. Like, I don't know how accurate this stuff is for this game, like where the bullets can hit certain spots, but these little pouches that are on you can also give extra hit areas. So you don't want anything with pouches, okay? So because of that, we go with this one. And you see it's kind of away from my arm, so when I'm up and aimed, it can't hit those. And it gives pretty nice vibrant colors. This one is my personal favorite because no matter what I put on this, the colors seem to pop out. The D&H chest. Let's go take a look. You talking about this one? Yeah. But again, if they're shooting from my side, my left to right side, because they're beside me, those extra pouches on the front are going to give them an extra spot to hit. So that's why I don't run this one. So you got to think that these pouches are not just side by side, like looking straight at me. You got to think that they're shooting from my left to right side. You know, when they're trying to shoot me in the sides. These things stick out. Same with this. Even though there's nothing up here on the chest, there's not a whole lot. Those little pouches sticking out on the front when you're shooting, if they shoot at that spot, they can get hit markers off of it. So you want something that has nothing up there, like this. Absolutely zero. You know, the Murakami ones. They're beautiful because they have nothing for them to hit. But we want colors, so we can see colors on it. We go with this one. It has nothing. Zero. Zilch. Same with this one. Now this one does have some pouches, but just look at those colors stand out. So, again, there's that. As for the gloves, it's just the Empress. The Empress makes everything just stand out. Super brilliant, bright colored. Even dull, dark colors does the same. And we'll show that here in a second. For the holster. The holsters really doesn't matter. We've tested it. You can put on any one of these, and because it's on one side, you're still markers. So if you're not having to worry about it, the players don't actually get hit markers off those. We've tried shooting right beside them. For some reason, the holsters don't take hit markers, even if you have a pouch on the other side. So the one with the best colors is the Badger Tough. Just because those extra strap colors on the other leg. You don't get most of them. Like this one, the straps don't do any colors. Nothing. So you want some color in your stuff, go with the Badger Tough. The knee pads, Empress. As you can see, all these look dulled out, you know, just really grungy. There's not a whole lot. Some just look tattered, worn down. The best ones for color, Empress. Just like that. They're going to show off the most colors. Now that we have that out of the way and we've shown you which ones to put on, let's go to the actual color schemes. And you see, and you see, like this one here is kind of a dark. It still makes you kind of hidden. Red, white, and blue. Black and white.
I should try making leather. Can't be that hard.
And even these with the patterns, they'll get some patterns in them. Look at the knee pads. Look at the gloves. I like this one for the medic because this is the one I use on my medic, the gray rogue. Gives that white and red with the stripe. This is for hazard protection because it looks like a hazard setup. Here's Heartbreaker colors. The new ones, Heartbroken. Lighthearted. Lilac. I swear to God, these... Where's it at? Does this not make me look like a Fortnite character? Like that little Fortnite, or even this one. It looks like I'm playing Fortnite. Like, I swear to God.
Feels so good to sit down. My back is killing me.
Anyways, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'll catch y'all later. Y'all have a good one.